What's going on, everyone? It's Nina Infinity. Welcome to my channel on this Sunday night where we will be discussing the Expanse series finale, season 6, episode 6, with my beautiful panel from the land above the freezing cold. It's far, far north, way too far. He's like a wildling. Look at that beard. It's Script Doctor. How are you doing, Script Doctor?
So cold. It's so cold. Otherwise, I'm doing great. Happy to be here. Thanks so much, Nina.
I'm so happy that you're here. Please tell everyone where they can find you.
Right now, the easiest place to find me is on Twitter at ScriptDoctorPhD. I do have a YouTube channel. It's starting back up. I'm playing some games at the moment. YouTube.com/ScriptDoctor. Check me out. Having fun with some Ghostbusters while I tinker away at some other videos to release later on this month or
Nice.
year. I don't know. It's a busy time right now.
Nice. Everyone's links are in the description down below. Jane, how are you? Welcome back.
Oh, happy to be here. I'm doing great. Great.
Your PC lives. Thank God.
It is alive.
Yes, much like Zan or Jan or whatever you wanna call him. He came back to life. We're gonna
Yeah.
talk about that.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about that. Jane, tell everyone where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me here on YouTube where I post movie and television reviews and occasionally some pop culture commentary. You can also find me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram at Jane Theory.
Yay!
Woo.
And as always, I'm gonna play this.
Before you introduce yourself, say your line.
Hey guys. Hey guys. Hey guys. Hey guys.
Hey guys.
She never says it anymore.
That's why I don't have to say it.
Hey guys.
And we have George, the Giant Slayer. George, how are you?
How you doing? Great to always be back here on Sundays. Love it. How you doing, Gary? Script,
So happy to be
Jane?
here.
Great to see you all. Well, you can find me on YouTube on George the Giant Slayer, on Twitter and Instagram, and I do movie and television reviews with some pop culture analysis every once in a while. I'm working on a couple of new videos this week.
Sweet. Yeah, George has got a lot of content and puts me to shame all the time. That's fine. That's okay. And then, of course, last but certainly not least, Gary is here. Yay, Gary.
Oh, it's good to be here.
How are you, Gary?
I'm good. It's strange to be talking about The Expanse probably for the last time.
I know.
Yeah.
For a while, anyways, maybe,
Yeah.
possibly.
Well, I had to, Mrs. Nerdrotic finished watching it with me. And she's like, oh, God, I can't wait till next season. I'm like, there is no next.
Done.
No, but it's series finale. I'm all, yeah, they're being really coy about that, but they're done. It's not coming back.
Yeah, I went and looked it up, like just in case like there was any news. This is like something that I spotted, and basically what it says here is that the creators have commented on how they're interested possibly in bringing it back, maybe, but it's basically it doesn't have a home anymore, so they're open to it, but I don't think that it will come back anytime.
It
Not
has
coming
to.
back. The streaming services are things are slowing down in Hollywood because of COVID, and everything's a little bit more expensive. And I just saw an article today why The Last Man creator was really hoping to have another streaming service pick up her show, and
I saw that.
no one did.
No, nobody did because they were like, you suck. But that's the thing. Does the
That was
Expanse
stupid.
suck as much as The Last Man? I don't know.
No.
Oh gosh,
No.
no. I mean,
No.
it's shot in the
think
same
so.
city, but like it's definitely not by the same people that wrote it.
Yeah,
This
White
show
Last
would be
Man.
worth investing in. It's just it has to be in the right place with the right people. But
They made
well, not necessarily a show either. Like I wouldn't mind a movie or like
Yeah.
2 movies or something
Right.
to wrap it up, kind of like Farscape, and how they just like did a mini series or a 2-part kind of like movie to wrap up the story. But I mean, it definitely left a lot to be desired for.
right?
A movie would be great as long as it didn't have the same 6-episode fillers that we just got this season. It was just ridiculous.
Real quick before we start breaking everything down, Varangants for $2.99. Thank you so much. It says, hi, Nina, George, and nerds. It's got all over again. I don't know if I would go as far as saying it's got all over again.
No,
it's not.
There it is. But
Yeah,
no, it didn't end as bad as Game of Thrones, but it definitely handled one aspect of it that is very similarly, by not having any conclusion or anything. Which, yeah, we'll get to.
I like how, like, in the end, Holden was like naming off like how none of this stuff was like. And I'm just like sitting there, like, really? Is that what you're gonna leave it with? Like, and then it just literally ended, and I was like, wow, like they really want to rub that in too.
No,
like
definitely that.
I was like, what? How are you gonna rub it in that you have so much loose ends left, and then you're not gonna finish anything?
Right?
Bullshit.
Or Philippe just taking off into the space.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that because I was so mad beforehand, but then at least that one kind of settled. I settled down. I was screaming. Terminal for $100 Czechoslovakian, I think that is Czechoslovakian woolly bullies, says, I don't believe in the miraculous quality correction in the last episode, but I look forward to a good discussion. It will be that. It's going to be discussion indeed. 200 Watt Studios for 5. Thank you so much. Says, hail Nina, Gary, Script Doctor, Jane, and George. Turtle noises to you all. Thank you so
Hail
much.
200 watts.
Here is a brief turtle noise. And also for $5, says, I was wrong. I said war ends with 5 minutes in the last episode for Laconia cliffhanger, but no Laconia in the last 5 minutes. Yeah, no, I was like, are they gonna at least give us like a post-credit scene? Nothing. We didn't get shit.
1 hour and 3 minutes.
Yeah, I didn't even find those extra scenes, the extra 5 minutes. I didn't find one for this one.
Also says, cop out on who kills Marco. No one did.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my god. Remember when I had that? Technically it was Naomi. But remember when I had that in the previous poll, I think it was like 2 episodes ago, and I was like, who's gonna kill her or kill him? And like everyone got mad that I didn't that I put no one.
Right.
But you were right.
That's exactly what happened. And then we had Varangas again for another $2 saying George.
Hail.
That's thank you so much. Okay, so let's get to it. Let me just make sure. Okay, we're good. All right. So everyone in the chat, thank you for being here. Make sure you smash that like and share the stream and all that good stuff. So I'm gonna start the episode now. Let me just mute this. So as always, we'll start with I guess on our initial thoughts of the episode. Script Doctor, what'd you think?
Well, I mean, I did kind of. It's bittersweet with the Laconia stuff because you're like, oh, this is a good setup, or a little Pet Cemetery stuff, cool parent reaction to everything, and then you've got the Admiral Duarte just looking up at the thing that they're building in orbit with all this sinister intent, and you're like, well, this is disappointing because we're never going to see what's going to happen to over there.
Right.
But the other part too is it was. I will say this: there are some parts of the special effects with regards to going into the ring space that was disorienting because it's like they're blasting their way in there, and it's like, wait, don't you have to go through the ring space at like a specific speed? Otherwise, you get like liquefied.
Right.
Yeah, didn't they bump into it? I don't know.
They kind of skipped that part, so then all of a sudden we're now in ring space, and my orientation was kind of screwed up for a bit. I really, really enjoyed all the sci-fi names on the attack crew that was going in there. You got E. Ripley, and you go K. Hicks and all those guys. It was just a nice little nod to cool sci-fi there.
I didn't pay attention to that at all.
No,
okay.
I missed that.
That's pretty interesting. Okay.
And I mean, there were some thrilling aspects. I like the combat to a degree, but overall, it just felt like it reminded me a little bit of the speedy nature of trying to wrap everything up because they don't have any more time. And I compare that a little bit to Return of the Jedi, where it's like, okay, we gotta kill the Emperor, we gotta blow up the Death Star, we gotta save Darth Vader, we gotta reconcile Luke and Leia, we gotta reconcile Leia and Han. We got to do all this type of stuff. We only got 2 hours to do it. But in here, it's like we got to have all these threads. We got Naomi, we got Philippe, we got Marcos, we've got Drummer and Avasarala. And we have the Avasarala. We have all the politics between Earth and Mars and the Belt. And we only got 1 hour. And it's like you're really going to be skimping out on all these things. Like, we're not going to get that satisfying nourishment that we've got in those first 3 seasons of The Expanse with each type of specific subject that they presented to us.
Right.
So,
And I also, like, just for the end of the show, I also have alternate ending options that I ran through my mind. So I have 2 alternate endings that I will share with you that I thought would have been better than what we got.
does one of them have a text that says "come back for season 7"?
No, actually, no. You would think so, but no. Gary, what was your overall thoughts for the episode?
I'm going to leave out all the asides and excuses that, Cass Anvar left and COVID and all. That's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. They did the fans dirty. So sure, we had the general quality of the episode. I like the performances. I really like all the actors. I thought they were all in character. I guess we got to thank them for putting the characters back in character, be it briefly.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole Strange Dog side story. So it's a novella called Strange Dogs, which they started every episode with. Went effing nowhere. It was a waste of time.
Yeah.
So I was frustrated watching the whole thing. For one, the effects have gone downhill, especially when the storage crates and all that stuff were going into the ring. And right.
Yeah.
I can't remember if they dealt with the slow zone issue. I don't think they did because I can't remember. I can't remember if they did in the books too. And I'll confuse things with the books. And I'm going to spoil some books coming
Please
up.
do. Like,
So you're gonna
I'm ready for book spoilers now, by the way, because
Absolutely.
I'm over this. This ending was BS. So I'm really glad that you're here.
Like, I was watching it with my wife. She liked it for what it was. I didn't because I wanted to know where the proto molecule came from and who were the architects and who killed them. That's a massive mystery. And that was that overshadowed your entire show. So the same thing in Game of Thrones. You had the others and the White Walkers. Of course, they never called them the others. Never told you what their motivations were. What the children of the forest, stabs them in the heart with obsidian, and all of a sudden they want to kill everybody. Okay, why'd they come back? Why'd they come back this time? So we know at least why the proto molecule came back. But you set up. I mean, this completely wastes season 4. Like, why did you have a season 4 when you weren't going to revisit this? Why did you bring back Miller if you weren't going to revisit this? So it did the fans dirty. They wasted a bunch of freaking time on polyamorous couples and a bunch of freaking modernism garbage that you didn't need to put in this show because it's already filled with it, and you could tell when you put too much of it in. So I know.
How about that whole Peaches storyline with, I'm like gonna die in 5 years and I'm gonna throw up blood for 5 minutes. I'm like, is this really necessary? And then she ended up like not dying or anything. Like in the end, I was like, what?
What they were doing is they did the audience dirty, and I know there's a bunch of because I followed them all because I was part of this whole Save the Expanse thing, so I'm still following a lot of people who don't want anything to do with me, but they were just sycophants. They're like, "Oh, this is great!" I was crying. I'm like, "Why? Why?
For what?"
As Brightest Day pointed out when I did a stream a couple of days ago, it's like, unfortunately, sci-fi ends like this for us a lot.
Yeah.
You look back at Battlestar Galactica, holy crap, was that a better ending than this and so much other sci-fi?
And that ending was shit too at the time. I was like, are you serious?
Better now because
it's much better now. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they knew what was coming down the pipe. And you know what they did? They had another season to go. They were going to do 5. And they're like, we're going to skip that 4th season and just do the 5th season. So that like it was rushed, but not like 6 episodes rushed. So it looked like to me, by the way, it was crap. It looks like to me that Amazon, they had to negotiate to get 6 episodes out of Amazon at all. Like Amazon wanted to cut this thing off at season 5. Maybe
What?
Yeah, which is really weird. Like I had heard about all this stuff. I mean, this is before the Cass Anvar stuff that came out that they were saying they wanted to pull the plug. I guess they weren't getting the numbers they wanted from the show. I don't know what it was, but they were ready to pull the plug.
And the Cass Anvar thing probably didn't help. This is purely my speculation, and they were able to whittle 6 episodes out of $1 trillion corporation. So I think they were ready to be done with this probably immediately. And their biggest mistake was dropping everything at once when you're trying to still build an audience on Amazon Prime. It was just a dumb move. And they remember they dropped, what was it, season 3?
Yep.
Season 4. It was season 4 on Amazon, like right when Star Wars came out, 3 days before fucking Star Wars came out. And nobody, like by the time nobody was ready for it. They were just with no promo or anything. I watched the first episode of that season at New York Comic Con, and that was great. It was a great episode. But yeah, it's weird. Season 5 started out pretty good, then it went sideways. This was a slightly improved season just in character work, but overall plot, a lot of wasted time. You did your fan base dirty, and
I thought this season was better than season 5 though, like just generally speaking. Season 4 I really enjoyed, like because I was, I'm all into the alien world and going through the damn gates, so I was like, I was happy with season 4 because it was different and it was alien and it wasn't in our solar system or whatever, and it was fun. But season 5 was just, oh my god, dreadful. What a fucking waste that was. Me and Jane was just like sitting here reviewing it and being like, oh, so Naomi had another day,
Another crisis.
She ever gonna get through this? George, tell us how you felt about the episode, please.
Well, I looked at it like I liked one of the space battle. I liked the space battle, but most of it, it seems to me, it's kind of like Dawson's Creek in space. I mean, between the polyfam with drummer, and then you're going to have the entire season about Philippe, Willie, won't he, maybe today, maybe tomorrow. And then
I love you, Daddy. I hate you, Daddy. I love you, Daddy.
Exactly. And then when he finally decides, after they showed him the last few episodes bonding with, the belt the loaders, and that's his family, and he realizes, okay, my dad's a zealot nutcase. I'm going to take off and leave him. It's like, adios, muchachos. Hope y'all burn in hell. He just leaves.
Bye.
And then you had, of course, the Pet Cemetery kid. I mean, what was that with the proto-molecule? He looked like he was from...
Okay, here's the thing about the Pet Cemetery. We didn't even get to see the Pet Cemetery. He was just there. And I'm like, okay, so how did they do it? Did they shit on him? Did they eat him?
Pump him full of proto-molecule, give him a kiss? Who knows?
How did they do it? I want to know.
Was it
how
like Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman transformation in Batman Returns? Just a bunch of dogs licking his fingers?
Right.
But he also didn't turn into a vampire or whatever they're supposed to do. Like, he was fine.
He had those eyes that bugged out his, you saw the
But I mean, he was like an enhanced human, though. He was enhanced. Right. He wasn't broken.
He wasn't fine.
Right, but they didn't get a chance. Again, you have all of these threads, which they left to the end of the episode of the final season. You're like, okay, that's nice. It's over.
They haven't. I mean, I've only read a couple of chapters of book 9, which came out in December, which is the final book. And they haven't really addressed if it's you or not, if you are resurrected by the strange dogs. And we'll get into that because once we go over the episode, I'll let you guys know kind of what happens generally afterwards.
Okay.
I was expecting a horror show.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, okay, please do. But let me tell you my theory first, because I haven't read the books, but I want to tell you my theory and see how close I am. Wait, did we go through everyone? Jane, did you tell us how you felt about the episode yet?
I didn't, but I mean, I share the opinion of a lot of people who've talked so far. It's very bittersweet. Okay. I love this episode on the one hand. I mean, to me, it was the best episode of the season, but I feel like there was so much wasted time. Even though they just got 6 episodes, I felt like they could have done a lot more with those episodes than they did. And how it failed to wrap up just left me so broken. Like, I feel like Nina does when she doesn't get an ending. It's so bad. And yeah, it's just, I loved it and I hated it all at the
Yeah,
same time.
I'm kind of in the same boat. You know what it is because we've been going through the season together, I lowered my expectations so much that I actually ended up enjoying some of the episode, like the space battle.
I
And
love the space stuff and the Laconia stuff.
great.
And I even like how they wrapped up Marco and Philip, but it's just there should have been another hour or something.
Right.
And we
Yeah,
just didn't get it.
we just didn't get it. So we're gonna get into the episode now, and also again, everybody in the chat, we are going to be getting into heavy spoilers of the books as well. So just keep that in mind going forward. So we start on Laconia. Captain Duarte or Admiral Duarte is staring at the space station, which is now active. You can see the little blue stuff on there. Like obviously they're doing something up there. We don't know exactly what they're doing, but they're doing something. And I was like, okay, so are we going to be told what they're going to be doing? No, we didn't get told anything. It's just like, yeah, stuff is happening up there. All right.
Yeah, you got the villain like, I can't wait.
Yeah, and then we go immediately to the little girl's house where, you know, her parents are freaked out that she's lost and missing and whatever. And she shows up. They're like, "Oh my god, you're here." And then she's like, "Yeah, and so is my bro, who's a freaking zombie now." And he like comes in here like looking like freaking Damien. I don't know.
Stone faced.
He was creepy.
But he's
though.
he's talking like a normal person. I don't know why.
It was
I get
really
why they're
sad.
afraid, but
He
it was just
like,
sort of
"Daddy,"
weird.
and I was like, dude, I mean, I don't know, like, I'm not sure if I would react like that if I was a parent who had lost their child, thought their kid was dead, and then sees the kid and the kid's like, "Mommy," like, I don't know if I would be like, "I'm gonna stab you now." I'm not sure if that was quite the reaction I was expecting from the parents.
No, it was crazy.
Can I get an idea from the actual parents here? Gary, I know you have a kid. How would you react if God forbid something happened and then, you know, your kid comes back to life and is like, "Daddy," and like tries to approach you? Would you stab him?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, not at all. That's not how I'd risk getting eaten by a zombie child to see if it was actually my kid coming back.
Okay, that's
Good
what I
point.
would do too. I would probably want to check it out and see, like, you know, is it real? Is it not real? Like, what's the story here before I stab my kid? Okay, okay.
You would ask some questions like,
Yeah.
how did this happen? You know,
Yeah,
it's
like,
a miracle. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, especially with the technology they have. Think of everything they've seen or heard of. I mean, they should be able to go up to him and like, "Okay, son, you all right? What's going on?"
Yeah, they can
Before-
regrow limbs. So
Yeah.
you would actually think that they would have technology that could achieve this.
Oh, but they
Absolutely.
already do. I mean, they grow limbs. So, I mean,
And he stuffs them in the closet.
stuff in the closet. It was really weird.
Okay, we'll deal with you later, boy.
Oh, and then this scene was really weird for me too, because then she runs out and then she plants like a little like a voice recording of herself being like, "Mommy, mommy," or whatever. And then so the parents run towards that. And I'm like, how fast is this kid? Like, how did she run from, like, I don't know, wherever she was, like way far away, planted that thing, came back all the way, and then you know, let go of the brother? I just felt like that was a bit
Little
like,
kids are really fast.
Yeah.
And she probably also threw it somewhere as well.
Yeah.
I guess that's true. Oh, maybe she threw it. You're right. Maybe she was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna throw."
But their
as far
first instinct was to contact the military.
Right. Well, because that's who they work for. Remember, we talked about that last week when we were saying they're going to turn him over to the villain.
But it's
And
your
he's
kid.
Yeah, it's your kid. That's weird to me. I just thought the whole thing was an overreaction on the parents' part, especially the mom too. Like, I would, like, okay, like maybe the father could be a little bit more disconnected and be like, "Holy fuck, like I'm gonna protect my family." But the mom would be like, "No, that's my baby. Fuck
Yeah.
off." Like, you know, I don't know. And she was all scared, like, "Yeah, stab it." What's happening in this? But okay. And then he seemed like really like he didn't seem too weird. Like, he seemed like he was a real person. Like, I don't know. Like, it didn't seem.
He seemed like his affect was off, you know, where he was obviously distant. He wasn't the same kid, but he was similar, you know, where he was like, "Mommy," like talking through water.
Right. But then she takes them and she's like, we got to get out of here because they're going to come looking for us. And that's pretty much all we see of the Laconia thing. Meanwhile, this thing's active and he's just staring at it. And then that's pretty much it. And he's like, as he's walking, we finally get to see what he's seeing, because we knew from the last episode that he was seeing something totally different. Like he was like, oh, look at that, like in the rocks or whatever. But it
That's
was
cool.
It was something different. Real quick, Jennifer Cisco sent a member chat. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Says, hail the Rocinante. Love you all. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. You're so sweet. And then just another couple of super chats before we get further into it. Mikey Guzzler for 5 says, Sophie Turner has been seen with red hair and James McAvoy is bald again. Think they will appear in Doctor Strange too? Mikey, I love you for asking this question, but I'm gonna get to answering this after we'll get to this question at the end of the show, because I want to stay on topic for now. So we'll come back to this. 200 Watt Studios, thank you so much for the $5. Says Gary, they stretched it out like they wanted us to save their show again and campaign another network to pick them up. And okay, I 100% agree with you on this 200 Watt Studio, but I think they could have done a better job if they actually wanted this, and that's why I have an alternate ending. So I will tell you this in just a moment. What do you guys think about this idea? Do you think it's true?
Probably, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it were.
I think they did a shitty job about it, though. Like I think they could have done a much better job if they wanted us to actually care about saving the show, because at this point I really don't. Like I'm like, okay, whatever. I could care less. If it comes back, I'll be like, oh, okay, I'll watch it. If it doesn't, I really could care less. I'm like,
it felt to me almost like they realized at the beginning of the season when they were going to start to film it that they were done, and that someone said, okay, throw together whatever you can just to have a few episodes. That's how it felt to me, because we only had very few things in each episode that actually had any impact or any meaning. Everything else was just fill up time. That's how I took it.
Which is weird, because not only was it filler, but it also presented all of these story elements that they just quickly abandoned. Like they did that whole setup for the asteroid attack that Marcos was doing, and then that gets resolved like instantly almost by comparison. And then we have the whole supply chain and the crisis at Ceres, and then that's quickly wrapped up. It's really like I would say like this, like the pacing of what happened in this episode would definitely feel like an episode 10. Of a season 6 with a 7 on the way, and then you have the asteroid stuff like season 5, and then the series stuff would be 2 episodes before the last, and it would be all like well explored things where we actually understand what's going on. And then I would have just cut this complete space dog thing out and just saved that for something else, because it did not benefit, nor did it actually push
it didn't pay off
the concept of the story that they were telling within the Sol system at all. Like it was completely irrelevant.
Well, I'll tell you, okay, since we're talking about it, I'll tell you what I think. I think that if they were going to do this, like if they had it the way that they've had it now, I think it would have been interesting if they had it so that, because we end on basically how Holden was going to be the president, and then he gave it to Drummer or whatever. So they had the first president. You could have ended it on that scene, but then time jumped to whatever that 30-year jump or whatever year jump is that they were going to do. Time jumped to that moment where they have like their, I don't know, whatever, 100th president or whoever is going to be the next president. It's been like a long time or whatever in the future, and they're all working together now, that they're not divided. Everything's kind of like, on the up and up. And then you end with the new enemy coming through the gate. Now, whether that's proto-molecule aliens or this colony, because from what I see, and this is my theory, is that when this happens, like, and they realize that they can come back to life and they're not going to die, I would imagine that this entire colony will become like this kid at some point, like that they'll all die and then they'll all come back to life, and then they become like this new kind of like subspecies. Like the proto-molecule
generation.
Humans. Exactly. And then couple that with the technology that they now have access to in space, I would imagine that they're gonna like go leaps and bounds in terms of technology. So they'll probably have anti-grav, they'll probably have other forms of technology that they'll use, and then when they come back through the gate to take over Earth or the solar system or whatever you want to call it, they'll be extremely powerful, and that's the new enemy going forward, I would imagine. And that's how you could end it, is that this new threat is coming, and how is like the Earth, Mars belt, all the people who are now unified going to deal with this, and you end it on like the invasion, basically.
Right.
See, that would have been cool.
Yeah.
I would fight for that to come back.
Yeah, because then people will be like, yeah, I want to see what happens, bring it back. Like, like I just feel like it would have been more,
It had more impact because you care about it and you've injected a great idea. That's why I was saying it felt like no one cared. It's like, this is over, just get out whatever we have to get out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Gary? And is anything I said was anything I said happened in the book?
Well, how much? No, but
is my idea better than the book?
Yeah, I would say yes. The books went. The books go. I mean, like a couple of things might be similar, but the books go like they have that huge time jump. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like that changes so much, and I don't know what the authors were thinking, but it has the end. Yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into similarities with that, but I would rather see that than what they came up with in the books, to be honest with you, because I was been very critical about what they did in the books.
Oh no! So my idea was better than the books. I gotta write my own book.
I haven't finished reading the final book. So
is Holden still there after the time jump, Gary?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
Rarely.
really?
No. Like he becomes less prevalent, and he's actually missing from an entire book. He's only in the prologue and the epilogue of
Oh
book
man.
8.
Does he have a son?
No, they don't have a kid.
Oh man.
Is he still self-righteous and humble?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's still a good old boy, Eagle Scout.
Like the first 6 books I read like over and over and over again, and book 7 and 8 I read once each.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Mikey, I'm gonna get to the rest of your super chats after we're done this, because they're totally off topic and I want to stay on topic. But thank you so much for all your super chats. So then we get to finally see what he saw, which is basically a proto-molecule. This is very resembling kind of like imagery to what happened in season 1.
Thomas Jane.
Yeah, with the Peaches' twin, which is now I've forgotten. Julie Mao. And how what she looked like, and what she was going through. I think that the imagery was also similar to what Zan looked like, because that's what she looked like, kind of like with the blue eyes and everything like that. So the proto-molecule is completely taken over. This is what he sees now, and then this is the
thing about it though is the behavior of the child is very different from what we saw when the proto-molecule attacked other humans, right?
Mm-hmm.
In terms of their loss of control and sort of animalistic type behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever they did, it was different. It's almost like they reconstructed him in some way to make him more functional.
That does seem to be the case, because it was very different. But then again, like, we are humans and we were dealing with something we didn't understand. So
yeah,
I don't know, maybe like.
Well, the dogs are drones, so I don't know.
Oh,
someone said they were called the mechanoids in the chat last week.
Yeah. They're drones.
Oh, so they're not a native species.
They're organic, but they're not native. No.
Gotcha. Are they sentient, or are they like operated?
I think they. That's a good question. They probably operate on a programming, but they can. It's probably on an individual basis, but they're just animals. They would be animals, so it'd be like an instinct. Go fix whatever's broken.
Cool.
So I'm guessing whatever designed or owned this space station designed those doggies and put them on the planet. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, again, I've read ahead, but I have no idea who the proto-molecule architects were. I don't know if they were part human or what. Like that.
Wow. I thought that station was built by the new bad guy. I thought that was his tech.
No, that's
no, that was there. They just found it and they were like, "Oh,
my mistake."
Yeah, that's architects of the new bad guy lives in the space between spaces. So
yeah, that's the one that killed Marco, right? Like the bad guy that they were like, "Oh, let's get him to get in the thingy and have that species kill him." I'm like, dude, are you fucking okay? Well, I'm sorry. Let's move forward. So then we get to the war room. They're discussing more war plans and
I like this scene.
Did you?
Yeah, I liked it. Especially when Drummer was about to kill that girl.
Yeah, but did the graphics seem off to you in this episode? To anyone? To me, it did. The 3D. I don't know. I know it's such a little nitpick, but it just didn't seem the same.
No, it didn't seem off to me. I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't notice anything specifically different. Anybody else?
No,
I
mean,
in space, I noticed it. So
okay.
Yeah,
in space, I noticed it a bit too. Like the part where you were talking about, Gary, with the containers being thrown. I was like, oh, this looks a little.
They didn't render it completely.
Yeah,
they didn't. But I love the idea. I was caught up in it.
Yeah,
I like the idea too, and I did really like that scene with Amos. Like that was cool. I was like, ooh.
Well, I liked all the Amos scenes.
I like that Avasarala survived. Is that bad? I was like, I just liked her so much.
Well, she would survive, I think.
She's a great character.
She's so badass. But yeah. So here they were like making their plan. Basically, like long story short, they were making a plan to attack the station, Medina station, so that they can take the guns. And the Rocinante was going to go to like the place that what was it, like the substation where they control the guns so that they can get control of the guns and then turn the guns on in Aros.
And that was going to be the plan B.
Right.
So they were the backup plan. I love that.
Yeah. And then like Drummer and them were like a squad and they were going to go like, meet him head on kind of thing. Which, by the way, I really liked that scene with Drummer where she was like, fully prepared to go full Klingon. I was like, yeah. Freaking ran that bitch.
Finally. I liked her.
Today's a good day to die.
Yep.
Let's go. So then they started the space stuff, which I was like, yes, space.
Finally.
Great. And then we see Emo Boy again. And Emo Boy has a chat with XO Lady, and she's all like, you better be on your best behavior. I stood up for you, and you got to be there for your daddy now. And he was like, yeah, I'm good. We're fine. And then, Marco shows up and he's all like, yeah, I'm the best. I'm Marco. Look at my man bun.
My eyelashes.
Yeah. The eyelashes.
He is pretty. He is pretty guy. For a bad guy, he's pretty. But then so he's like trying to do the war thing. Is this when he gets betrayed by that other guy? Oh, is this what you're talking about? Script Doctor with the names? Where'd you see the names?
Oh no, those are on this display on the Rocinante.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Of the jump team. So that's like all the guys that joined Amos and Bobby.
Oh, okay. I forget what they were talking about here. They're talking about their stupid plan.
They were talking, yeah, they were basically discussing the plan from their point of view.
Right.
Which is essentially retreat into ring space and take over the ring completely, is my understanding, right?
Yeah. It was.
Yeah. And then kill them all. Kill them all. Let God sort them out. That was pretty much what happened. And then after that, we get to see the crew setting up. We get another mention of Alex.
Oh my God. I rolled my eyes so hard when they did that.
Me too. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you going to beat this dead horse one more time with this whole Alex? Oh, Alex, he's the best. Why'd you fire him? Oh my God. What did you think of this scene, Gary? Did you like it when they mentioned Alex again?
Yeah, I did very similar. Rolled my eyes. It's like, let it go, guys. Like they obviously don't like him. I don't know why they bring the character up, and that's what probably screwed things up too for adapting stuff because he's a big part of the books. Still.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
They should have just got a new actor.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I said you should have just replaced him. You shouldn't have killed off the character. They should have just recast.
Yep.
But they didn't.
Yeah, this is where right around the time of the episode, I'm like, they're just gonna do the end of book 6. That's all. And I was just starting to get pissed. I'm like, God dang it! I got people into this show, right? And this is the way it's gonna be. This is the way it's gonna be with sci-fi. And I don't even know going on in the future. I guess after we go over the episode, we can talk about like, is it going to be cheaper to shoot in Canada anymore? Because I don't think so. I think it's going to.
Well, it takes longer in Canada because of all the regulations that SAG-AFTRA has done up here. Like I worked on a couple of productions just before the winter break, and it was 2 hours of testing and forms before you actually got onto set. Wow. And then another 2 hours to go through the same thing after. So that's 4 hours, and your normal day is 8 if you can get away with it. So yeah, things get slowed down a lot. And then this particular set, it's built in like North Toronto at like I think White Studio. And then they've also borrowed stuff at like over on Commissioner Road at Pinewood and a couple of places in Mississauga. So like all in this area that's like about an hour away from me in any direction. And yeah, everything just slows down because of all this malarkey. Essentially, that's what it is. It's just malarkey. Like there's nothing. They're just doing it to appease people that could come in and it's essentially claim that they can shut them down, but they can't actually shut them down. Like they can only just say it. Yeah, we're shutting you down. It's like no. Like I've been on sets where cops have come in, and like the director and the producer like literally just yell at them to get the hell out. And this is like before all this pandemic. It's like, you were on private property, get out. You're costing us money. We were gonna. And then they would, send a letter to the police station saying like, we're going to sue you for the day that you almost cost us.
Wow.
Because you just decided to wander into our set. And like, and then also they would be like an issue with the set security for letting the police in without any actual, probable cause or anything of that nature. Like they just wandered on. Like, what are you doing? It's like, this is a closed, like it's a studio. Like there's doors and things barricading and locking up and a red light. Like you don't walk in on that. And
how do you wander onto that?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I mean, script, I think that you're totally on the money, and not to mention now with all the like damn COVID stuff that's going on in Canada, I just don't see how I mean, mind you, like most of the film crew and stuff like that have been vaccinated. I don't think they'll have problems there, but
it's massive tax breaks that make Canada more lucrative, but
and our dollar. But our dollar's getting stronger and the US is getting weaker because the US is printing way more money right now.
Too much, yeah.
Yeah, and that's happened before. I remember when the Canadian dollar was stronger than the dollar.
That was like 12 years ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. It was good times though.
The peso could stand up to the dollar. That goes way back. But now I just don't think it's going to be lucrative for American studios to go up to Canada all the time. It's especially when they're getting a bunch of breaks here, a lot of breaks here in LA now that they weren't getting before because they were they were desperate to keep Hollywood going. So
does that mean, Gary, that they're going to go back to LA
or Georgia, or they'll be here in America? There's a lot of filming going on in Atlanta, but like I wouldn't be surprised if you started seeing filming in places like Texas and Florida.
They should come to Louisiana.
It's Texas, Florida, New Mexico, a bunch of the southern central states going on there because they have great tax credits. They have great economic plans for filming right now that started up, I think, middle of last year, just to try and get people to come to their states, and it's a good thing. And
every 10 years they do that in Texas and Houston. Every 10 years they'll do it script where they'll be like, they'll put on this big thing. We're going to start filming movies here. They built, I think, a studio or two, and then a couple of shows show up and then it stops.
Yeah, no, it's the same. I mean, Austin used to be awesome like years and years ago, and then as the film festival kind of picked up and kind of became like their stimulation of economy, it just changed it. I mean, it's still pleasant for a lot of people, but during the actual film season that's over there, it's basically the worst parts of LA for a couple weeks, at least from my experience on that part. And the same thing is like with Toronto and with Vancouver. Like once stuff starts building up and you get all that like Hollywood money circulating around, it just goes to everyone's head, and it doesn't help that their heads are already halfway up their butts. So it's unfortunate. So I'm not upset that Canada is not going to be retaining a lot of filming stuff anymore. I think it should mostly be in the United States. I think Canada has enough talent up here that they could make their own independent film companies, because so much of them are dependent on government funding, and the government funding has so many loops and things to get around that you end up never making anything up here. I mean, a lot of the tax credits that like the Expanse could probably qualify for a bunch of Canadian grants and do their own distribution network, but they'll never be able to approve them because there's so many blocks put up by the grant committee that just says, you check off all the boxes, but we're not going to do it.
Oh, I see. Do you think that would have any impact on its politics if all of them pull out, if all of the American shows pull out? Would it cost them enough money where they would change?
It would probably, I mean, it would cause a dip in the economy, mostly in Ontario and British Columbia, but not too much.
Okay.
Because, again, there's so much money that's just kind of tucked away within the grant program in Canada that they could start actually handing that out to people again. And they haven't handed it out, as far as I know, in the frequency that they used to for 20 years. I mean, I used to apply for that type of stuff, and they're like, you have Canadian actors, Canadian directors, Canadian post effects guys, Canadian everything, and they're like, it's not Canadian enough. And I'm like, I don't know what else I can do from there.
I know. I remember that stuff too. That it's the same thing with like radio too. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That the
and
Canadian...
if we get away and we get the CBC no longer government subsidized and a whole bunch of other ones, people could probably start. You'll probably start seeing an industry in Canada which would definitely partnership with all the other places. You're talking Hollywood, Bollywood, Mexico's film industry, the BBC. They would partner with all of those guys and be like, yeah, let's just do it. Like, Hollywood because they claim Hollywood North in Canada. There's no such thing as Hollywood North. I'm sorry. Like you're delusional. It's it's film locations and that's it. There's no real studio system. Like one of the guys.
we used to have like Lionsgate. I mean, we still do.
Well, there's Alliance Atlantis, which was heavily done in Canada. Paul Gross has his Wing Bang studio, which is the smallest. It's the biggest one in Canada that I know of, but it's also like incredibly small and they don't produce much of anything. Because they can't. Like it's not there. You need competition, and hopefully that will change in the next few years. Because if Hollywood's not securing film locations up here because they're not getting the tax credits that they need, and they're not getting the exchange on the dollar, which is really important, they're going to go elsewhere. And I'm like, yeah, do it. Because go elsewhere, get your bang for your buck, and make something awesome.
Agreed. John Miller for 5 says Amos shields Bobby at the end. Does that mean she took him up on his offer to bang?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
They had that banged.
I
remember last week when he had all of the glitter on his neck and he's like, I'm going back to the brothel.
Oh, they totally did it. Professor Glenn for $4.99 said, who was your favorite drop team soldier, Ridley, Deckard, or Riker?
I don't know. Most of them died.
Deckard.
I would be like, probably Ridley for me, because that's like, come on. Ridley, come on, that's awesome. Aliens.
That's Ripley, but yeah.
Oh shit, that's Ripley. Whoops. But never mind. So what is that? Ridley Scott? Is that what they're thinking then? I don't know.
Could have been. I didn't catch that name. I did catch Ripley though.
Was it Ripley or Ridley?
Yeah, I don't know. Ridley. Maybe I thought it was Ripley.
Maybe Autotypes changed it from Ripley to Ridley.
Yeah,
that's happened before.
And then the last one, TSM Space, thank you for 5, says if they could keep filming it over and over the way plays are done so often and rework the lines and plot details, it would get really good. Maybe.
That's very expensive.
Yeah. I would
and unnecessary. Imagine. I think they've proven that they know how to do a good show. I just don't know what happened. Here.
So many things happened.
Sounds like they were undercut, but they weren't upfront with their audience towards the end. They were like, it's going to be a satisfying ending. And, I've been a champion of Naren Shankar, the guy who's the showrunner. I think he's like one of the best in the biz, and he's probably going to have his pick of the litter when he goes elsewhere. But they weren't honest with us. They said, "Oh, it'll be a satisfying ending." No, that wasn't a satisfying ending. You don't leave the biggest carrot out there. Just like
No. I'm sorry. I wanted to know who the fuck the
write it down
proto-molecule.
on a fucking scroll or have somebody tell the story at the end. I don't give
I don't give a shit.
if you have Holden at 50 years old telling a story to somebody in a bar or something, and then if you want to film it later, you still can. The books are out there, so you wouldn't be really spoiling that much. And just go, the fucking proto molecule. Who knows?
Oh, that was
thing? That's still out there. We might have to deal with that later. Oh my god.
I mean, we got this Duarte guy saying he's going to kill gods. That shouldn't be a problem. It's fine.
Oh yeah, that's totally.
You ever seen this ancient movie called Star Trek V? Dude did the same thing.
Oh my god. And then we have this scene. This is what I was talking about with Peaches. So she's just, I don't know, for some reason she's just all over the place, and then she goes and she's sick.
Really miscast from the book. So
oh, is she?
Yeah, Peaches is supposed to be this cute little girl. She was a full-grown woman, but she didn't look anything like her sister Julie Mao. Peach is supposed to be kind of a more frail, smaller version of Julie Mao.
Mm-hmm.
And this one she was too, I don't know, handsome.
Aggro?
No, I just didn't fit the part. Not wafy enough. Not wafy enough.
Wafy. Okay.
She's supposed to be really wafy. Rock star freaking model.
Gotcha.
Doing a little heroin wafy.
I see. Did she get the mods?
What is a golf club?
Did she get the mods in the book?
Yeah, she has the mods in the book, and that's why it's this little 5'4" girl, men in half. She get because of mods.
Wow,
that actually would have been more impactful. I think
it would have.
Yeah, that would have been cooler if she was much more much
petite.
Tinier.
Yeah,
they should have cast what's her name? The chick from Hawkeye.
Oh, Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah, that one. And then she's tiny and she can whip 200-pound guys. So that was
that's about right.
Yeah, it's the one time they should have. The one time they should have actually cast a small girl who could beat up a guy, and they don't do it.
Technically, Amelia Clark is tiny. She's 5'2".
As I've always said, Amelia Clark is 5'2".
Yep,
5'2". Wow.
I'm 5'3". That's a little bit shorter than me. Holy cow.
That would have been a Peaches.
I thought you looked taller.
Really? Yeah, I'm tiny. I'm 5'3". But yeah, so they could have cast somebody a little bit smaller. That would have been interesting. But yeah, so her and Amos have this conversation earlier because they were he had a conversation with Naomi where Naomi basically told him I was your mentor, now you're hers. She calls you boss the way you called me boss, and you're her mentor, now you got to take care of her kind of thing. And he, it was a very, I like that dialogue, although I feel at this point in the game it's a little too I don't know, it's just all
thrown away.
Yeah. It just felt weird.
I thought it was sweet,
have
but
Naomi
it was
and Amos really had a scene at all this season? I can't think of these two having a scene together. Really before this.
Oh no.
I don't
Naomi
think they
and Amos.
have
By themselves. No.
They've been showing him growing apart, though.
You mean in season 1 how they had him? Is that what you're talking about?
In season 1, that's the thing is it probably got very difficult to adapt this show because the books center around Holden for most of the time, and then the 5th book is the only book that gets you into the entire crew's head, and then they go back to you're just in Holden's head, and there's 3 other guests that you don't give a shit about. Their new characters were just terrible. They were boring. And yeah, they didn't have enough time to bring them together to have any resolution. And just you go back to last season, how much time they wasted.
They wasted a lot of time last season. This is what it makes me so mad. And the same thing with this, with this season, I felt the last episode and this episode could have been episode 1 and 2, and then you could have focused the rest of the episode on Laconia and then called it a day. It's I don't know. It's just the pacing is just so messed up, and I don't understand why they did that.
Well, they tried to match the pacing of a 10-season episode arc into a 6-season. It doesn't work. I mean, one of the things you have to do with writing is like you have to write under the understanding that you might not get to follow this story up. So you have to write as best as you want, get as much as you can in there that's relevant to what you want to tell, and then pray to the gods that be that you'll get to be able to follow it up if you have a follow-up story in your mind. But whatever you're doing at that time, it should be the focus. That's why I always say, if you ever hear a movie announcement, well, for a sequel, while they're still in production of the movie itself is probably going to be bad because they're not focused on making that movie the best it is. They're focused on the potentiality of it as a franchise, and they always fail. I mean, unless you're doing a straight adaptation of something that has already had a beginning, middle, end, like Lord of the Rings, like we know where that's going. We can make those 3 movies, then you're good. But outside of that, an original thing, even in regards to The Expanse, are they trying to wrap up two books in this one season? It seems like
in this season, I'm not sure, Gary. How many books is it?
They tried to wrap up one, but I mean, it wasn't long enough, especially when you started the show with covering a book over a season and a half. Like Leviathan Wakes basically goes through the middle of the 2nd season.
Oh wow. Okay. But see how they did that? Like, because they like
I can't remember that now.
It makes sense though that like the way that they've done that in terms of like translating onto this. That's why it was so good, because they took their time, and now it's just all rushed.
Yeah, it's not halfway yet. Like, I mean, when you go to season 1 and season 2 of the show, it's so good. It feels deep. It feels lived in. There's like lots of extras. But you could see the sets shrinking as time goes on.
Right.
Yeah.
It also feels tight. It feels tight. It didn't feel like there's filler. It feels like a robust story, like what you're saying.
Oh my God. Yeah. The first the first 2 seasons, actually, like, season 1 through episode 5 home is some of the best television I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that got me into the show was basically like the detective story in space. Like I loved Miller. And I think that when Miller left, like I think a piece of the show was gone, like even more so than when, Alex left. Like, because that was one of the draws for a lot of people, was that character. And then like when they got rid of him and then they brought him back and then they got rid of him again. And I was like, I don't know. You got to decide what you want to do.
Right.
I don't know. I don't really know. TSM Spacer 5 says, close the window. It's drafty. Wait, who said that? I don't remember that. You guys remember that?
Not ringing a bell, no.
This is going way over.
Is it talking about the hole in the ship? I can't remember.
I can't remember.
Oh, for like a drummer ship?
Drummer ship? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh my God.
I don't know if that's it, but
maybe
that's what comes to mind.
Give me some context, TSM Space. Because I don't, it's going over my head. I don't get it.
I got a controversial opinion because I know everybody loves Drummer, but I think they focused on that character way too much.
I don't love her.
I agree. Absolutely.
I couldn't stand her until literally this episode.
Yeah, Jane has been a Drummer hater the whole time. I'm the one that liked Drummer. I was like, I like her.
I think she was fine in small doses when she was with Fred Johnson.
Yeah, and with Ashton or whatever that guy.
The thing is, like that everything with her is created in the show, and it was all because she was a fan favorite with the hardcores, which is always kind of a mistake. I mean, you want to lean into like what your audience likes, but you can't like, oh, we're gonna invent a polyamorous fucking family for this character, and not understanding why people actually liked her. And they you got to give it to like The Expanse really did listen to their fans at first, but then there was a hardcore group that just like always talked about him all the time and contacted him, and I think they were way too influential over the show.
That's a dangerous thing when you're trying to write for fans. It's like, okay, you have to look for the nuance and the subtext of what the fans are asking, because if you give them exactly what they ask for, they they get satisfied at first, but then they're like, oh, they're now ahead of the story, and you're not going to give them that surprise element. So you have to really play it carefully.
Yeah,
it was like she played this. The entire season was like a search for Spock. You know, she's going after Marcos, and then what does she have? She has her one like kind of few seconds of Wrath of Khan moment. I'm coming after you. You know, in the video. Then she
But
gets
they should have given us that the
she takes
entire
off.
time, though.
I
They
know, but
never
they
did
did-
that.
I know
They
did.
never
That's
gave
what
her
I'm
a real
saying.
story. It's like
I
she
thought-
existed to have this
Right.
relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah, she existed to have a polyamorous relationship, which, by the way, I fucking laughed my ass off in the end when that guy was sitting there in the crowd with his fucking bionic arm. And I was like, we spent 20 minutes watching your arm get cut off and then regrow. And then they were like, no, we need to chop it off. And then you ended up with a bionic arm. And that was the moral of the story.
Yeah, we went through that with his little handy Randy hand last week.
Yes.
Like,
Yep.
what the hell was that?
And one benefit of the polyamorous story is that it teaches anyone watching that polyamorous relationships never work.
never.
They don't work.
Yeah, they kicked her to the curb.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was so
So
funny.
I'm like,
So-
we went through all of this, and you ended up with a normal couple and her being alone.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah,
Pretty
usually is
much.
the case.
but
I
they
mean,
were
that's the worst
there. I
part
mean,
of
they
a
were there
story.
with their weird, with that guy's weird hand. They were there, but we don't know like what happened to their family.
They're
I mean,
doing their own thing, but the worst thing you can do to any character is to have them go through a series of trials and end up in the exact same position they were when they started.
Yeah.
yeah,
And that's kind of
it.
drummer.
That's exactly it, Script Doctor.
They gave her somebody else, another character's role, which I much prefer because I hated that character in the book. But yeah, they just focused, like they didn't need to focus on her. We had very little focus on Holden, and they could have been, I don't know, instead of dicking around with a polyamorous family, have him investigate with Monica Stewart, the enemy of the protomolecule, what killed him.
Yeah.
There's whole scenes they cut out that were interesting that they could have put in, but and it was budgetary. You could tell it was budgetary.
Yeah.
Sandbar never getting canceled, and they're gonna come back at us with, well, we did the best they could. Now, I'm sure they did. I'm sure you did the best you could. I would have killed Marcos at the end of season 5 or the first episode of this season and spent 5 episodes just trying to make something out of Laconia. Just trying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would have done.
Makes
That's why
sense.
I said 1 or 2 done. Like he's dead. This episode should have been episode 1 or 2, and then it's just done. Like
And that's what I was talking about. They were focusing on the hardcores who were like, oh my God, we love, Philippe and Drummer and the polyamorous family. And they're like fucking shippers. And we're like, no, we want to see space fights. We want to see the protomolecule.
Yeah.
And we like, the crew of the Rossi.
yeah.
The
How are they going to
to
deal with Laconia, and how are they
Right.
going to deal with the protomolecules, and how are they going to deal with whatever the fuck is living in between space or whatever the hell is going on with the gates and blah blah blah. Like that's what we wanted to know, not this. Like
Exactly.
Right.
meanwhile, this chick is having a conniption, and then she's like, "Oh my God, I'm sick,"
And then she's fine.
But then, Gary, my question to you is she also sick in the book?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
so she does have this weird sickness that she might die.
Yep.
Okay. So then she finds out she might be sick. She's like, "Oh my God, I got 5 years, yo." Which when I saw this, I immediately thought, "Oh, they're gonna kill her off."
I thought
when
they were
you're-
going to sacrifice her.
Yeah, I thought she was gonna sacrifice herself to kill Marco or
Yeah.
something.
That would
Like, I
have been
was like-
better.
I mean, I thought so. I mean, but usually when you build something up like this, you're like, "Oh, this chick's gonna die," and she's like all heroic, and she wants to make up for, not
All
like
all
all
the
the
stuff she
people
did.
she's killed and like all the stuff. So I figured she would like sacrifice herself to do something like to save Amos, maybe. I don't know, whatever. But
And instead, all she did was make dinner.
the
yeah, instead she got into the kitchen, which is, I mean, usually a woman's role, but it's fine. She made a good dinner.
she took
And
Alex's
props to the
spot.
bar department for no spelling mistakes there. That's nice.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, she made some food, some grub, and they all had a family dinner, which took way too long, I thought. I was like, seriously? We're gonna sit here and just like eat dinner for fucking 20 minutes? When is the battles gonna happen? And this is kind of like they're all family now.
Yeah,
This is what
we didn't need to see it.
what the scene is trying to
Not when it's
paint.
the final episode of the series.
No.
Seconds.
Yeah, I mean, like this is a setup for future stuff.
Yeah,
This is a setup for future stuff. Exactly. Although, I mean, that's also true. People got to eat. I get that.
yeah, but you can do it quickly. Especially that's what it is. A lot of the stuff felt like, okay, we're setting the bait for next season. It's like there's no next season.
The Last Supper. There's no more. It's over. Oh my god.
Hey, do you know what movie Steven Strait is in?
The main character?
Oh, he's one of the main characters in a movie. I don't know. Maybe you guys haven't heard of that.
I know one of them's from Sky High.
Sky High.
Oh,
War and Peace.
Love Sky High. War and Peace. It's got Bruce Campbell in it. Kurt Russell. Wow. It's a great movie. It's actually a Disney movie that I like.
I've never watched Sky High.
Oh, it's freaking cool. It's fun.
It's hysterical.
It's fun. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Wow, it's like a kiddie movie.
Yeah, it's like it's made for like teenagers. But I watched it with the kids. I love it. I think it's great.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
And he's like a little grungy. I guess is after grunge, but teenager. And it took me like season 2. I'm like, whoa, that's War and Peace from Sky High. No way.
Yeah.
That's funny when that happens. I'm just sharing my screen so people can know what we're talking about.
Yeah, Sky High is a good movie. Good movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
There it is.
It's a movie or a series?
The movie.
Oh, it's a movie.
Oh, God. It'll be a series now that you mentioned it, George.
Oh, no.
Thanks a lot, George.
It'll be a bunch of black lesbians.
It's gonna be a polyamorous family.
Orgy. It'll be a
Sky High.
orgy. Jesus.
I'm sorry. There'll be some white lesbians in there too. But it'll be just lesbians.
You gotta have a character too.
You know, the lead actress is going to be that girl from It's going to be the girl from G4. She'll be the lead.
Oh, yes, she will. Yes, Stork. Big Bird. Oh my God, that was so funny with my kid. My kid, like, he's getting funny. He's got mom and dad's sense of humor. He's like, that G4 lady, why is Big Bird yelling at me? And I'm like,
How old is he now? Or can you share that? Or?
He's 16. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Chip off the old block.
Are you gonna let him stream soon?
No. He doesn't want it. No, God, my God, he freaks out when he thinks he's going to be on camera.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
right
funny.
now he's writing an essay, which might be his first video on why Spectacular Spider-Man is just the greatest thing ever. The cartoon.
Oh yeah,
that's cool.
that was a great series. It should never have been canceled, but Disney gonna Disney.
So he's gonna get into making videos at least. Oh, that's good.
Yeah. He's like writing this essay for fun. So
Cool.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Classic Comics, thank you so much for the 5. Says the funny thing about Sky High is that it seems to be a superhero movie, but it's really a homage to an homage to 80s teen comedies. Oh, that's cool. I love 80s teen comedies. I would actually watch this.
that is a very good assessment, I think.
That's cool.
It's fun. It's before Hollywood got stupid.
Stupider,
Real off topic.
actually,
Real off topic because you told me to, Gary. I watched a fun movie last night. I watched The Kingsman for the first time.
Oh my
ever.
God, that's a great movie.
That was
good.
crazy. Like I did not expect that much violence. I was like, whoa. Because I thought it was gonna be like a, like a kind of like a teen, take of like spy movies, but it was like, whoa. I didn't expect all the blood and
It toned it down from the comic book.
really.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was good. It was really good. I enjoyed it. I was
Brace
very-
yourself for the sequel.
Oh, really? I've heard it's not as good.
Yeah,
No.
it isn't. They
Yeah,
they went too far ahead, in my opinion.
I agree.
The new one's out though. Have you guys seen that?
I haven't seen The King's Man. I've heard good.
I did
No,
see
I
The
haven't.
Kingsman. It's not
How
bad
was it?
actually.
It's not bad. Okay,
It's
cool.
not bad. I mean, you definitely can have it has a framework that you could totally infer that there's some woke stuff in there, but it's not intended for that. You can tell that they're just trying to do it to have fun, and it just happens to fit into those slots because it's actually got a really great father-son story in it, which I think is really, it's heartwarming. You actually feel for all the characters in there.
Matthew Vaughn, the last, I think, good director in him and Nolan, the last good director in Hollywood.
I like Nolan a lot too.
He's the last good working director in Hollywood. I mean, he did X-Men First Class, which I thought was a great adaptation.
I love that.
And reconciliation of the characters. Yeah.
Much better than the third X-Men. I always forget its name. The one with the Phoenix, when they started Phoenix.
Oh, Brett Ratner's.
Brett Ratner's. Yeah, I can't stand Brett Ratner. That's who it is.
Real quick, George has to go. I'm sorry, George.
Thank you for having me again, Nina. It was great to see you, Gary. Script, James.
You too, George. Take it easy, buddy.
Take it easy, George.
Love the chat.
Bye, everybody. Check out George's channel, George the Giant Slayer. It's in the description. Follow him on Twitter. Follow him on Instagram. All that good stuff. Thank you so much.
Love y'all.
Take care. Bye. Sorry, everybody. It was a little bit of derailment here. We're gonna get back into it now. This is not a Kingsman chat. Don't worry. We're like,
yeah. I think Drummer's Battle Group. The whole build, like the battle was fine. I like the battle. I've always liked the battles in the show. Thought they were really solid. I just just knowing, like, I like this character. This guy.
I did too.
He was so cool.
Yep, and how he went out was awesome. Like, if Drummer was going to ram the ship, and he decided to do it anyway.
Yes, I did not like him at the start because I was like, "What's the point of this fucking character? Like, I don't care about him at all. You're introducing a new character like at the beginning of basically like the last season. Like, we don't care about anyone." But then his death was so cool that I was like, "Yes, I like this guy."
I think he made a good impact on the show, actually.
He did. I agree. By the end of it, I was totally in on this character. I was like, this guy's a cool character. And I like how he was like, I read your mind, Drama. I'm doing it. I see you there. And he like went. It was very brave, very Klingon. I liked it. Avasarala is doing her thing. She was badass. This scene though, I was like, what the frig with this cuck guy? I was like, what is this about? Like, why is he about to cry? Like,
I thought it was a trick. I thought he was a spy. Like, I thought he was going to sabotage them or something.
That would have been more interesting than what this whole entire dialogue of him being like all, I don't know, like it seems
you shouldn't be here. You're our leader.
Like, you're on the flagship, buddy. Like, what are you doing? Like, if you're scared, go home. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
But he was like scared for her, and I'm like, what?
And he was a simp. He was like, I love you, Avasarala. We need to save you. I was like, what?
It was so disappointing that they leaned into stuff that, again, they don't lean to. They don't need to lean into. Like, God, I saw a tweet, and there's so many powerful women in the Expanse. It's like, yeah. And it's not anything they ever talked about before.
Yeah, and there are so many powerful men too. What's your point? Like,
exactly. Are you saying there's a bunch of weak women out there? I like this whole powerful women. It's like, yeah, women can do shit. They've been able to do shit for quite some time.
There's currently still a queen over in Britain for 80 years.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But it was just so, it ended with nothing. Like, what was the whole point of it?
To make her look more like, why did you?
To me, it made her look weaker because it's like this guy's questioning
her authority
and her authority. Yeah.
And she's like, I need to be here for the communications. But I like her.
God, wait, was that your Persian accent? Because you sounded totally Latino.
That's the best I can do.
It's like this, Gary. You gotta talk like this, very, very in this kind of accent where you just kind of stretch out all the words and you stretch out all the very, vowels. I don't know.
Now spend 10 years on a smoker's voice and you'll nail it.
That sounded kind of Greek, actually.
No, I can't do it.
Yeah, you gotta have a good smoker's voice.
Well, what's harder? What's harder to say than a real name, or her real name is harder to say than the character name.
Shohre. That's her name.
Shohre, Mogadishu or something like that.
Mogadishu.
Sounds close.
I love it. I love her because she's Persian. She's great. TSM Space for 5 says, in my opinion, they should have walked.
Kind of in a way, like when she was young, though. Ooh, wow,
she's sexy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sexy
Still
lady.
holds on to it too.
Yep.
I love that she's not like super like, oh, I'm gonna like do a ton of plastic surgery and make myself look fucking weird. Because she doesn't seem to be that kind of lady, which is rare for Persians. Persians are like, let me just become a plastic person. TSM Space for 5 says, in my opinion, they should have Walker survive after all and be part of future episodes. Is the other guy Walker? The other the Belter guy? I think she's talking about this guy, right? This person.
Oh, was it Walker? I never got his name. But yeah, he was good. I would have had him survive too. But
I like him.
No, he seemed the type that he would go out with a bang.
Yeah,
yeah.
I was surprised he actually lasted as long as he did.
Interesting. Commandant VHS for 2 says, I got a big space battle, so I was fairly satisfied. Yeah, well, I mean,
did the ships flip? I can't remember. I love when they do that move.
They did.
Flipping the opposite direction.
I think they did that. But yeah, anyway, this guy's questioning her being on the ship, which is so fucking weird. I was like, this entire conversation makes no sense.
None.
Then they start the battle. They get into it. Marcos is doing his thing. I love the space battle. I was like, okay, I'm in this. Then I was kind of like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Because it was like immediately her ship got hit. I was like, it was like an immediate thing. Like she didn't even get near. Like I was like, okay, she didn't even like fire a shot. Like, is she gonna die already? Like I was like all freaking out. And I was like, wow, at least they had their spacesuits on, so they're not gonna die like this. And that's when, that guy was like, let's ram the fuckers. There he is.
Oh yeah, he was dying already. So
Yeah. He wasn't gonna last too long.
No, he was like, I'm going for it, and then he did it, and then he blew up. But he did impact Marcos's ship.
Yeah, he hit.
I loved how it peeled apart too. That was so freaking cool.
The Pella was disguised as a transport frigate, right?
Yes.
Yep. Yes, it
brilliant.
was.
It was brilliant.
That part was really cool, and I loved that he took out the XO, because I was like, oh damn, like his sacrifice did take out their XO, which was a big part of Marcos's team. And I actually thought because she was taken out now that he was going to start making mistakes, because she was like his logic kind of like for most of the show, especially most of this season. So like I felt like he was going to start making like terrible mistakes without her. 200 Watt Studios for 2 says, Nina, please say Shohre Agha Deshlu again slowly. There you go. I did it.
Agha Deshlu.
It's q. Can you say the like sound? Yeah.
No, I can't. Ga
Deshlu.
Dashlu.
There you go. Isn't that great?
Isn't it?
Such a great language, Farsi.
It is. The English language is, it doesn't have it. It's not like French.
No.
I can't imagine what it sounds like to other people, but I can barely speak the English language, so I can't say much.
I gotta learn Spanish is all I know, and that I've been stumped. I'm like, I can't. It's the masculine and feminine, man. Like I can't do it. It just gets me every time. And then I'm like, maybe these people are onto something with this Latinx situation, because I can't. I'm just joking.
Oh, that's the same with French, though. I mean, really, when they focus so much on that part of the language, like we as kids, when we learn the language, we don't really learn it with the abstract understanding of this is a feminine, this is a masculine thing. We just learn the word first. We understand the context of the flow, and then we start understanding that. Yeah, we would refer to cars as she. Like, okay, I get that. That comes later. That's the thing.
That's advanced. Yeah. Alex409 says her ship did fire missiles. Yeah, like 2, and nothing happened. I was like, oh my god, it was like so fast.
It was
like
fast. It was
it was
really
immediate.
quick.
I was like, like, can we get like 1 minute of her
She
in the
just stays
fight?
losing.
And then she was out. And then but her dying, that was really interesting. Philip was like, her death scene actually was really interesting to me because she kept saying, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. And that was really like, it was kind of touching in a way because I mean, she had like all these plans, like she wanted to like rule Medina and she had like all these things and she didn't even know she got hit. And that's like something that like that's really interesting to me when like people are like they can't even believe that they're about to die because they're like you don't even feel it, like the impact of it, like you don't even feel the pain. That's how hardcore it is. So like that was an interesting death scene for me. I thought it was like her death scene was better than Marco's. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But I loved how they actually did get hit. Like you could see them getting oftentimes in these types of shows, the ships are getting hit, but you never really see anyone die as a consequence of it. So I loved that aspect where, yeah, the ship's getting hit and people on the inside are getting killed. I love that.
Yeah, I like that too because you don't usually see that very like even when they do space battles in like Star Trek and stuff like that, like you see it a little bit in Star Trek where like you have all the stuff like hanging everywhere and like oh, it's like oh they got hit, but you don't usually see like the impacts of like the hull breach and stuff like that, like the way that you did with this battle scene, and I really like that kind of stuff. It was really well done. I thought like look at that, that's cool. That's a cool.
Awesome.
That's a cool scene. And her face, she's so mad. Motherfucker. She is a good actress though. I like her. And then there's the Rossi, and they're trying to do their thing. So they're trying to get ahead to start implementing the plan of this. And this
Love
is what
this
we're talking
plan. I
about.
love it.
It was good. It was a good plan. They were trying to get these cubicles or containers or whatever to stop the
to draw the fire, the fire
to disguise
machine
themselves
guns.
with.
Yeah, but see, like I don't know, they just seemed very. This scene just, even though it was such a cool plan, it did in real time seem a little bit like out of the realm of like how well the Expanse does in terms of their graphics. It
the effects just looked like they needed another go.
I was reminded of the show Reboot, the old cartoon show with this shot, because they'd have like the background thing like that, but it'd be like purple, and then they'd have all these like pixelated boxes flying into it.
You're totally right. That's exactly what it was like. Oh my god. I haven't thought about Reboot in so long. Jesus.
Someone said it's Amazon losing parcels.
It's all the containers from LA that were broken into recently.
That's great. Show the list of droppers. I don't know where it is. Where is that?
It's somewhere around there. It only shows up for a little bit because it's like there's the team. There you go. There's
there it is. Alpha, Bravo, Charlie. Oh wait,
and then the names are all science fiction characters.
Oh, there we go. Okay, Draper. Okay, these are the. Okay, that's the thing. Here we go. Draper, Akbar, Quaid, Bowman.
G Akbar for General Akbar.
Oh, General Akbar. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
A. Rogan.
Burton.
It would have been funny if they had put J. Rogan, like Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Idaho. There's Ripley.
Yeah.
It is
Duck in
Ripley.
Idaho. You got
Idaho. Yeah. There you go. Right there. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's all other cool science fiction characters or people who work on science fiction stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I did not notice that. That's really interesting. Okay. All right. I like that kind of stuff.
Well,
like
and we didn't get to talk about it, but they did Dorn's words, the Martell's words, unbent, unbowed, unbroken.
Oh yeah, that was episode like 4 or 5. They did that. That was Jane brought that up because I didn't even realize because it's been so long since I've.
I was so mad when they did that.
Yeah. These these are big pals of George R. R. Martin. They're like, I don't know if not understudies, but they worked with him or something. And
he's got a writer's group with a whole bunch of people.
The funniest part was somebody like that was working for the show tweeted out like the writing in The Expanse is so great, and then they had like literally put that scene of where they were like saying that word, like those words, like unbent, like whatever, like broken or whatever, and I was like, these are literally words from another writer, like it's from George R. R. Martin, and you're talking about how the writers are so great,
and from
like,
a house that they did terribly. So.
In the show, my God, yeah, in the show, and quite frankly, in the books, they haven't done that great either.
No, like, that's not what you want to reference.
To do, but don't get me going down that rabbit hole.
Why are they comparing themselves to Game of Thrones? Because they want to be the next Game of Thrones. This is so fucking weird.
They have similarities. I mean, the books are written similarly. They are.
Well,
they're written from perspective. So
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like that it doesn't have an ending. Well, at least this has an ending. So I don't know. I mean, like now it does anyway. Like the book, technically, I guess. I mean, it might be a shitty ending, but it's an ending. We're never gonna get a Dream of Spring. Are you kidding me? That's never gonna happen. Maybe when's a win.
I don't want to crush Jane's dreams.
I think it's gonna happen.
Jane, for real, like you think a Dream of Spring is gonna happen? I don't even think Winds of Winter is gonna happen.
Maybe in her sleep. Yeah.
It's always gonna remain a dream, Jane. It's always gonna remain a dream.
That George left. We're gonna end it with my book club. We are gonna end it with my book club. We'll figure it out.
Do it.
Yep.
Get Jane writing too, because I'm sure she's got ideas.
Yeah.
So then this girl, I thought I for reals thought she was gonna sacrifice herself to do something, but she didn't do anything.
She should have.
She went down to the basement though to like hook up their power again because their power went out when they got hit. And that's when I thought she was gonna die or something, but nothing happened to her. And then that's when they were like flying real close to the thingy. This is the part that I was having problems with because I was like, why? Like, I don't know.
The inside of the ring space, the outside of the ring space.
Yeah, it felt weird. Like I was like, I don't understand this. Okay, I'm just gonna suspend my disbelief because I don't like whatever at this point. Just kill the fucker. like whatever. I don't care.
You have to.
So like that happened, and then this is the part where she goes and she gets hurt.
This is where she should have died, I feel.
I agree. I think she maybe got electrocuted or something to turn on the power, and then it's like, oh, she's dead, but she wasn't dead, which was kind of weird. And then he's all like, they're going for the pods because it was there was too many like gun turrets and there was too many guns going on, so like there wasn't enough boxes for them. And half of their boxes were going through the gates, which were disappearing. This is the scene that I was talking about. I loved this scene.
Loved it.
This scene was fucking awesome. Like, I was like, yeah, Amos. I was like screaming at the screen. Like, I was like so happy about this scene. I was very happy about it. I was like, I was like, fuck yeah. Like, they did something, that I'd never seen before that was really new. It looked cool. And of course it's Amos. Amos is fucking awesome. So I like this a lot.
It reminded me too of Drummer's comment when they were discussing the plan, and she said that it would make a belter proud.
Yes.
I was like, what is she talking about? And this happened.
Yes.
Like, yes.
And I love that scene where he lands and he does not land very like
gracefully.
Not land gracefully. And he just kind of like stumbles and falls, and then he's like, yeah, I'm good, like, whatever. And then Bobby lands right next to him, and she's like all like, yeah, bitch. Like, she's
and you saw
like
someone else fly off. Like, you could see that some of them were not landing.
They
dying.
weren't. It was they're just dying because it was. I mean, I guess it's difficult.
They were hitting it the wrong way or something.
Gary's right here. What are you talking about? Demar Wholeness for
right
Timmy
here.
Says Gary's gone.
My eyes are wide open.
Gary knows how to sleep with his eyes open, apparently. But
too.
also, Gary is very busy, so I'm just glad that he's giving us his time. So I
was
appreciate it.
looking up Naomi's eyebrows. Okay. Naomi Nakatis, because my wife couldn't stop talking about it during this episode. She's like, I hate how she stopped doing her eyebrows. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Because like, I'm a dude. I'm not going to notice these things. I'm like, yeah, something looks a little different about her, but I don't know. It's not her eyebrows. My wife's all, no, it's her eyebrows.
Okay, now I can't stop thinking about it. I can't wait until I get to another scene where I can see what she looks like.
Doing that. I'm like, I don't know. And she thinks it's the push for the non-binary thing, you know. I think like you might be right. You might be like more of an androgynous look from an already androgynous look. And I was just looking up, it's like sure as shit they did her eyebrows before, and maybe the budget didn't have hair and makeup, and I don't know, but it was.
Is there a side-by-side photo that you can show us by any chance?
I can show. Well, I can't. There's not a side-by-side. But I can show you a picture of
like season 1 versus season 5 or something.
Well, she looked more feminine in the first 2 seasons, that's for sure.
She did. And then she got her hair cut like a boy. And I was like, what? Ugh. What's happening to her? And then she got that weird tattoo on her chest. I was like, her character just kept looking like shit every season. I was like, what? Why are they doing to her?
All right, so here here's season 1. Boop, boom.
Naomi's straight for sure. Maybe just a little bit.
So look on the right there. You can see like those are some well done eyebrows, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And then I'll try to see if there's
so they had a little shape to them before.
See, she had like longer hair, but like a mohawk, and now she's got like just this. I don't know.
Yeah, there's no newer pictures.
Well, she had more like a Vulcan style eyebrow in the earlier seasons, and now it's bushy masculine. Yeah.
Just go to a picture now. Like you had the thing up. Go to a picture.
Yeah, I'll go to the scene where she's at.
Look at those nice, trimmed eyebrows.
Nice arch.
That's what we get into here on Nina Infinity eyebrows.
Yeah. I'm big into eyebrows, Gary. You have no idea. I'm dying right now. My eyebrow lady canceled my appointment the other day, and I was like, "Are you kidding me right now?" I was so mad.
Oh my God, you're right.
Going
like,
on Sunday. Okay. I got one. I got one. You're right. She's got like caterpillars on her face. I didn't notice.
On Eugene Levy style.
Okay, hold on. I got it. I got it. Here we go.
Yeah.
Look at it. She's like, her eyebrows are like really thick, but she's not doing them like I have thick eyebrows.
See, but it's like styled.
Yeah.
She's not doing anything. It's just really messy.
Yeah,
they got a warp core tattooed on her chest.
I mean, like I'm getting old, so like I have to trim like the crazy old man eyebrow hair that'll like get as long as my beard. It's like
a stray hair, yeah.
It's like shit.
Look at that. Giant caterpillar. She's got caterpillar eyebrows. That's what's going on. Oh my God. Quinn of the Q for 5 says, "Can I hear each of your best belter accent?" You can hear my best belter accent, man. There you go. Da Paula. Wait. What do they say about? What do they say at the in the end? Belta bawa. I don't know. Something about belters. Belta bawa. Bawa.
I think it's Belta Lauda, but it's like in the belt.
Belta Lauda.
Yeah, Belta Lauda. There you go. That's my best. Okay, Gary, go.
What you say, Belta Lauda?
There you go.
I used to do a better one, but I stopped because I used to watch season 1 and 2 like over and over again.
That's Jamaican me crazy. Mine was totally Jamaican.
Yeah, it's the same thing, I guess.
Jane,
Creole.
Give us your best belter, Jane. Come on.
I cannot. I'm terrible with accents.
Jane, you are the one that's like, I love the belters and I love their belter speak. So let's go.
I do, but I can't do it. I don't even know what to say.
Say this.
Belta Lauda.
There you go. That was good. That was good, Jane. Okay, script doctor, say.
Yeah, boss man, in the belt.
Yes, script doctor wins because he called me boss man.
Hey,
That's
boss
amazing. Okay, great. I love it. I love it.
I miss Ashford. God,
Yes.
Ashford and Miller were the best characters.
Yeah.
Oh, Ashford and Miller, and even Johnson. I liked him a lot too.
Fred Johnson.
Fred
Like,
Johnson, so
it's
great.
so funny, yeah, because that, he's very butch, Fred
Mhm.
Johnson, and the actor's not.
Oh, he's a good actor then.
Good actor. He's a good actor.
He's a great actor because I knew him from The Wire, and that like he's got a great character in The Wire. I mean, his struggle was just it was. I mean, have you seen the Wire, right, Gary?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure you
Good
related a
thespian.
lot to his character.
Great thespian. He's also in the Orville. So
Yes, he is, which is
He's Clytus, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they did the same
Yes,
thing with
Fox.
Fastos and Eternals.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What? They did what?
The same thing with Fastos and the Eternals.
Oh, I didn't know that because I've never seen the Eternals.
Oh, you're lucky.
Yeah.
I just had to watch your review. I was like, I'm not wasting
you.
my time. No.
Hey, I did that with Boba Fett. I was like, I didn't watch Boba Fett, so I watched EFAPs.
Yeah, I've
like-
just been watching people's reviews of it because I'm like, I mean, I don't, you know me, I don't like Disney Star Wars, so I'm like, I'll just watch people's reviews, which is like Bobo Power Ranger is what's going on now, which is fun. John Koza for 2 says Belter accent is just Hawaiian pidgin.
Pigeon.
Pigeon? Is it? I thought it was a mix of Creole and maybe a little bit of that, John. Hey, John Kokoza. I didn't even see who that was. What's up, John?
Hi.
What's up, homeboy?
For
It's
some
definitely
reason,
got
I thought
that.
there was
It's got
Chinese in
Jamaican.
it, but maybe
I
I think
thought
of something else.
Yeah, I thought it had Jamaican in it. That's why
Has
mine sounds like Jamaican, man.
It has Guyanese. It has a lot of various accents all over.
Yeah. It's supposed to it's supposed to emulate the trade speak that the Greeks used to have. Greek sailors used to have their own language, I guess, back in the day.
Oh.
Yeah, same with pirates. Pirates had their own speak as well.
Yeah, pirates did have their own speak.
That's cool.
So back to the episode. Okay, this part was interesting because when they landed, I don't think they were expecting this much cover fire or like defense. They were expecting less because they kind of like got really bogged down with fire. And then they couldn't get into they couldn't get to where they were supposed to go because they were just being bombarded.
Yeah.
I got Mass Effect feelings when I was watching this part.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool though.
It was, yeah.
It was
I
really
liked
cool.
it because they thought they had a plan and it just did not work out at all. And
Yeah,
I love that. Things
And
don't
I-
go as planned.
things don't go as planned, and I love how Amos and Bobby were like totally on the same page, and they were like, well, I'm not gonna sit this one out. I'm just gonna go and do it. But definitely they didn't agree on how it should be handled because she was like, she went ahead thinking that they were gonna just kind of like fall back. And she was like, fall back. And Amos is like, fuck that. Like, everyone go. Like, we gotta cover her. And so like they ended up coming outside because they were asking the Rossi to come give them cover fire from above. But the Rossi is too busy with the rail guns because they needed them to turn off the guns. And so it's like a chicken and the egg thing. Nobody could do anything.
Yeah.
Finally, Bobby was like, you know what? I'm going to use my Martian suit and I'm going to go and I'm going to do it myself. Fuck it. Fuck this. And so she does it and she's like all heroic and shit. I really love this scene with Bobby because I like Bobby's character a lot here. And she just kind of like steps up and she's Bobby. She does her thing. And this is the powerful woman that everyone is talking about.
But the only thing is they took out the guns that they needed to take out the ship.
Right. That's something that happened. But I also think that it was really cool that scene where Amos like got on top of her and was like protecting her body from being shot because she almost died.
That
Like, it was-
armor was insane.
Yeah. It was so crazy because these guys were like jumping out of the things too and like shooting at them. And like Amos came. This is the scene where like Amos came and he was just like, I got you, Bobby. And for
This
a
is
minute,
familiar position.
yeah. Oh yeah. This is definitely what they did last episode, but we never watched it. But like in this scene though, I was totally nervous because I thought that like as the camera was gonna pan out, that we were gonna see like his back like completely like torn and that he was gonna die. Like because sometimes they set it up like that, like the scenes is set up so that when it pans out, it's like something, you don't see that you finally see, and then you're like, oh no, it's like for the shock factor. But he was fine. But I was like, I felt like for a second that they were gonna kill him because he like sacrificed himself.
Yeah, I thought that I'm like, yeah, that they if they want to tease that they're going to come out with another movie, then they can't.
Exactly. That's the only reason they didn't do it, I think.
I was confused about one thing though. We see someone getting shot through their armor, and Amos says they have armor-piercing bullets. So why wasn't it piercing their armor?
It was just not for him. It wasn't Amos piercing bullets.
It wasn't Amos. But
Yeah, he was
I'm
only shot in the
guessing
shoulder, I think.
I'm guessing it's because like they got some of those upgrades though, like those I know they got some for the
proto-molecule
ship.
upgrades?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know they got some for the ship. But I think that they upgraded Bobby's suit with it, but I don't know if Amos's suit was also upgraded or not. Yeah, Raj is
Yeah, well,
right. I feel like that's what's going on. Plot armor is the best armor. That's
It's impenetrable until it's not.
Yeah, they should have explained that better, or just not said anything.
Yeah,
Well, I
that's
mean-
but that's what we saw though. Like we saw them being easily taken out, and he's like, they have armor piercing rounds. And so that's why I thought that he was gonna die. Like I thought his whole armor was gonna be gone in that scene, like because it was armor piercing rounds. So I was like, oh no, like he basically like he finally sacrificed himself. He finally was the hero. He did what he was gonna do.
That would have been a good ending for him.
It would have
Not
been.
bad, but he wouldn't die. He wasn't going to get killed by being shot in the back. He wanted to face his killer. So I mean, that's the terms. But you also have this dicey aspect where if you didn't want to have him have this plot armor and you just killed him, most likely the audience would respond like he died in a very easy or a bitch way or something of that nature. And it's like, well, that's kind of the shocking value of military combat is like you don't always go out on a flame of glory or in a huge battle.
Right.
Sometimes it's an accidental thing that takes you out.
And that's what happened with the XO on Marcos's ship. It
Yep.
was like this rock just flew right through her, and that's why I like that because I was like, yeah, she had plans, and it was
She
like,
had plans,
well,
but she's also a new character and didn't have the same type of attachment built with the audience that Amos has. Because Amos has been like one of the coolest characters of this show, next to our good old Martian Texan who unfortunately was written out.
yeah,
But
he was
he's-
great until he became aimless Amos on Earth for like
Oh yeah, that
a whole
Yeah,
season.
they just
But
betrayed that character.
I like that he did sort of start out saying he wanted to go out basically in this, blaze of glory, facing down the enemy, but then was willing to sacrifice himself for someone he cared about.
Yeah,
I mean,
I like that
there's
too.
no better way to go out, and that would have been a great sort of turn of events, but no.
By the way, did you guys by any chance think the same thing as I did? Because I was like, wait a minute, is this whole fucking place taken over by the proto molecule? Because I kept seeing this blue shit, and I was like I was so confused. I was like, are they using proto molecule tech on this place? Like, what is happening? Because I don't know, it just had a lot of similar imagery. I don't know. If
Well,
that
I
was
think
just me.
this is a planet inside ring space that helps you orient where the other rings are. Like you have to have that point of origin, right? Because there's like 15,000 rings inside here. So how do you recognize which one goes to where if you don't have a point of reference? And because as soon as you like go into the ring, it's just this big space with all these rings, right? So you need like a center point to focus on. And I think that's what this planetoid represents. But it is made out of proto-molecule, I believe. So they had to like, there's this whole little subplot, I think, in this season where they're talking about like they managed to build non-proto-molecule tech on top of this somehow, and that's why this railgun was so dangerous.
Okay, so people are in the chat are saying that it was proto molecule tech. Okay.
Okay, so fuel, maybe.
All right. That makes sense, I guess. Sorry, what were you going to say, Gary?
Well, they were able to build on the ring station, because they were able to penetrate it with proto-molecule tech, which probably had something to do with Laconia that they either cut out or couldn't get to.
You said penetrate. Wolverine Snick, thank you so much for becoming a member. You are awesome. Okay. Then we get to what was next? Oh, this scene. Ooh, this was good. This was good.
Oh, that was good.
This was very satisfying in a lot of ways for me because I was like, haha, fuck you. So then we see the scene with Admiral Duarte in contact with Marcos. We'd been told that they were in contact, but like this is kind of like one of the first scenes that we get to see. And this is like a second scene because I think that we saw them talking in a previous episode. I think it was like episode like 1, or maybe it was the end of episode 5 or episode 6 in the previous season. But they were talking, so we knew that they were in contact. And then so he finally tells them like, you're cut off, like we're not sending you any more shit, because he was like requesting for more stuff, and then he's like, nope, we're not sending you any more shit. You're cut, and stay the fuck away from Laconia and stay the fuck away from our gate. And I was like, oh damn, because Marcos, he was totally counting on these guys. I think that he thought they were like a team, and they were gonna like take over Laconia space together and like be a big one happy family. And then this guy was like, nope, fuck you. And well, he deserved it. So I was very happy.
Mm-hmm.
And
we were told this before, though, that the Martians were using him, and now we see how and why.
Yep.
Look how mad he is. God.
And embarrassed.
Yeah, he's a
Humiliated.
good actor. He's a good actor. He's
He
got a
is.
lot of good facial expressions because it like really, shows how well he acts. I really hate him, but I like him too. Then immediately after, we get another conversation with Daddy and little boy. This
Mhm.
another conversation where he still hasn't decided whether he loves Daddy or hates Daddy, and he's like, I love you, Daddy, I hate you, Daddy. But so again, he's questioning him, and then like, what are we doing? What are we doing this for? Your XO just died. And he's like, well, whatever, she's dead, who cares? And he's like, well, what if me? Like, it could have been me. And he's like, well, you signed up for this. And he's like, actually, no, I kind of didn't sign up for it. It's kind of like, wasn't by choice at all. And I think that at that moment, when his father told him, we're all making choices, he finally made that choice. Like, he was like,
Yeah.
okay. Like, he's like, no, I've never made this choice, but now I will. Like, now I'm going to make a choice, which we didn't get to see until the very end. Of course, he comes out and gives another fucking speech because he like all his people are kind of like feeling defeated or whatever, so he has to give another megalomaniac speech and rile them up for the last hurrah kind of thing. And then that's when he's God. Every time like his face showed every time he's gone through this the entire season. So like every time he did it, I was like, okay, is this the moment? Is this the moment that he's finally gonna be like, no, Daddy, no, and like just like rebel? But he just kept like not doing it. So I was like, when is it gonna be the fucking moment? Like, is he gonna stab his dad at any time, or what's going on?
Maybe they stopped doing Naomi's eyebrows because now they match his.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that.
That is
To
true.
make them
Oh
look more
my
alike.
God.
Yeah, this thing, it took way too long in the book, and it took way too God, the show was really good for a while at cutting out the bullshit from the books.
I was actually going to ask about this with regards to the books. What the hell is going on with Philip and his entire arc of like, I love you, Daddy, I hate you, Daddy? Is that all in the books? And
it's all in the books, but it doesn't seem like it doesn't take this long because they focus on other things. So
does he in the end just cut loose, just like in the books as well?
Yeah. But proportionally, it just feels way too much. And it was really important to find a not that this actor was bad. I got nothing against the guy. I think he did a fine job with what I thought was a poorly written source material character, because I was never sympathetic for him in the books.
Mm.
I think that might be a flaw with the writers. Like they just couldn't write a kid. I don't know. But
Yeah.
especially it's tough writing teenagers into stories.
Hmm.
And
Well, they couldn't write parents either. I mean, did you see? I'm telling you, like the first the parents in the first scene where they react the way that they did, I was like, really? Like you're gonna kill your kid that came back to life? That's kind of weird, but
yeah.
I
I
feel
mean,
like the,
only a
the
parent
writers
that's
just
told you
seen
couldn't.
right.
Pet Cemetery would probably do that, but
Script,
it-
can you say the beginning of that sentence again? Because
I'd say only parents that are diehard fans of Pet Cemetery would probably react that way to a kid. Other ones would be grateful, be a lot of confusion, a lot of like gratitude, and then the fear would start to set in once the weirdness happened. But that wouldn't be right away. That would take some time.
it would
With
take
regards,
at least a day, like lie in bed, talk about what the fuck just happened, kind of thing. Like maybe like
there'd be
24
too much
hours later.
adrenaline and emotions flying around. It'd be like more like a week with the way
Yeah.
with parents are and their excitement and pride and all that stuff. But on teenagers are so erratic. They are really hard to write for. It's really difficult to write for a teenager because they are so plugged into whatever's going on currently within the social sphere that by the time you do write it and it gets produced and put out there, it's already out of date. So you now have to find the core, and it's really hard to find that core because teenagers don't have a core. They're figuring that out for themselves. It's so
Right.
crazy.
The
And-
problem
and
though
that-
is that they took too long with him. We saw him flip flop so many times. 2 or 3 times, okay, fine, we get it. He has some internal conflicts here. But they just continued it. They just dragged it out.
Well, it was like 2 seasons. It was like from like season 5 that they were doing this because I was like, okay, what the fuck? Like, who cares? Because Naomi went to the ship for a while. We saw that whole struggle and her influence on him and all the stuff. So you thought at the end of season 5 that he might finally like betray the dad, maybe, and then he didn't, and then they just had this back and forth for so long. Like it didn't just drag on for this whole season. It dragged on since last season, and it's just like, okay, are we gonna get to someplace at any point? Which we finally thankfully did. But I don't know if it was like I definitely didn't like I did feel like, okay, I'm one of those people who understands that like some people need a second chance. This kid, he killed someone though. So I was kind of like I don't feel so sorry for him. I'm not yeah, he's probably gonna have to live with that and live with what he did for the rest of his life. But he killed someone with his bare hands, and he's killed like millions of people, like by pushing the button to nuke or like to send the asteroids to the earth. So it's like I just don't know if there is a redemption to be had with his character. It's like, is he too far gone? I didn't feel very like, oh, poor Philip. Like I don't know. It's just I didn't. Did you guys feel like that?
I did with
No.
respect to his killing his friend. I actually don't hold against him what he did in warfare. I feel like that's fair game. It's war. But when he shot his own friend for no reason, and then he became friends with the guy who lost his brother, I think those things may have had an impact on him, realizing what he lost, what he had, and then he took the life of someone who cared about him. That may have a lasting change on him or a lasting effect. But the war crimes, I just don't see it because Earthers were also killing tons of Belters.
Well, not the innocent people on Earth. They weren't in space.
Earth corporations were. I mean, that's where the moral quandary of the books and the shows is we don't get a good look at Earth. I mean, we get some, but like they talk about it a lot, but we don't get a good sense of like Earth is overpopulated, we get it. It's run by the UN because of an environmental crisis a couple hundred years before, and it's not run very well. But yeah, it's just a few Earth corporations doing horrible things to Belters. I always thought they were, I don't know, they did lean to liking the Belters a little bit too much sometimes, but they still made them out to be bad. Like nobody was perfect on that. I think Mars was probably written the best until the very end when they made the ultimate villains, or some of them. There was, like no one organization is all good or all evil in this. It's just filled with good and evil people. doing their things, right? So
Yeah, because they went into the whole like Earth thing a little bit when like Amos went on Earth and everything like that, or actually even before that when Bobby was on Earth like the first time when she was like facing the tribunal or whatever. So that's kind of like when we started seeing the Earth, and then I didn't realize that it wasn't kind of like a utopia at first. Like I thought it was kind of like really that they didn't have starving people anymore like on the Earth.
But
They
see,
had reached that level of what was that, Jane?
people are saying it's more. You pick the fight with people in space. The only thing they can hit you with is an asteroid. They can't aim it, so it's gonna hit where it hits. Stop treating them like trash. Then you wouldn't have the war. I don't blame the Belters. Sorry.
God, you're such
Oh
a
no, they were
belter.
completely exploited.
yeah, no, what for killing Earth? Yeah, that's terrible what they did to Earth.
I don't know if
for that, but like all the others, I mean, they might have had a beef, especially being torn between Mars and Earth. Like they couldn't. The problem is they could never assert their power because they always had somebody in the Belters always like giving into Earth. But I think a lot of Belters didn't understand that they need things like food and water.
Yeah,
that's just the way things are. And once they destroyed everything, once the ring gates opened up, they found themselves useless, or some useless, because some couldn't go down the planets. Without seeing that, like, you're still gonna need space shit. You're still
exactly. You're still gonna need space stations. You're still gonna need space. You're still gonna need like people to like mine asteroid belts and shit like that. Like you're still gonna need the Belters. Like, it's not like space is finished. Like
so I completely understood why in the story they had people destroy Earth, like sling the rocks out of and stuff. But like they even tried in the books to show sympathy, but I'm like, you kill billions of people. You're Hitler at that point. I don't care.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you made a choice then too. Like you made a choice to help your dad.
Like, sling a rock on. I still wouldn't agree with it, but sling a rock on UN, on the UN.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like if like they didn't even aim it. Like it was like, okay, let's kill
I don't think they could have.
millions of innocent people.
I think Earth could have surrendered at any time. They could have said,
They don't even have a governing body. So to a bunch of terrorists, which is basically Marcos and Aros, they didn't even have a governing body.
Well, they could say, "Hey, Marcos, come down to Earth," and be like, "Yeah, let's see him suffer the 1G of gravity on the surface planet. He could never really go. Like, would he survive? Like, that's the question, right? Because he's born and raised in the Belt, and Naomi had difficulty on Io, I think it was, or the other planet. Like there's not much you can do. You can only like rule from above, so to speak, but never really benefit from all the aspects of that thing. Because all you'd have to do to rebel if you took over Earth and you were a Belter is just disrupt the air and water supply to go to the ruler.
Yeah, I mean, it was basically a situation where they felt like they were going to die anyway, so we'll just take Earth with us.
Being manipulated by Duarte the whole time, so that that's everything. Like he left the Belters out to dry. They're out there destroying their own food supply, and he was going to cut them off no matter what.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, I knew that he would have cut him off because he was a psycho. Like, you don't deal with psychopaths like that without having a contingency.
The Laconian Empire wanted to be an empire. They were going to come back and conquer everything. They just wanted to decimate any potential rivals. And that's what they used Marco for. And they were very patient. And the reason they're very patient is Duarte was experimenting on himself with the protomolecule to extend his life.
Oh, so he was experimenting on himself.
And others. No. Many other innocent people died horribly. Yeah. So he could because remember, they kidnapped that one scientist, that protomolecule scientist that they brought in for like 2 seconds in the Strange Dog story. Remember him? There was a whole thing around.
He was in prison for like he was held in a cube, and they tried to figure out what the other guy knew. They
killed him. Yeah.
So he develops a way to prolong Duarte's life, and then there's a thing that happens in the books, and Duarte gets kind of a three-eyed crow in the Game of Thrones series download, where he just like his brain goes dead, and he just sits there and he starts mumbling to himself and drooling, and everybody thinks he's dead. But he's actually tapping into the hive mind,
Ooh.
Oh.
the protomolecule architects, who may or may not still be alive. And yeah, that's as far as I got. But
they're different than the gatekeeper things, right?
Everything gate, that's protomolecule builders. So everything gate, it's the I forgot what they even called them, the gods. They're basically the dark gods. There's dark gods somewhere. And they what every time the protomolecule builders open up a ring and send a ship through, it hurts them. It does something to their space. And Duarte finds a way to annoy them just enough to see if they'll respond, because there's a point where like we don't know if this is a natural act, like this randomly happens because of fucking science or just a physics or something, or if this is like a living thing responding and defending itself. And they find out it's a living thing defending itself.
Wow.
Oh wow! I can't believe we're missing all of this.
All
All
the shit you've been waiting for. They handled it so clumsily in the book. I understand why they did the time jump. I'd have figured out a less of a time jump. I know they wanted to be like really like hardcore to the science, but then you're messing with things like, Holden and Naomi being 60 and running around. And yeah, they can take de-aging pills. And yeah, 60 now is a lot different than 60 30 years ago, for sure. I mean,
yeah, and this is the future, so it's like, who cares?
Yeah, it might be. It was like, I don't want to ruin too much if people want to read the books. There's a lot of yeah, that was the best part of book 8. You're right, Alphonse. And that book 8 wasn't as bad as book 7. Book 7, I wanted to burn. I was like, why did I waste my time with this? It didn't fucking move anything forward at all.
Oh no.
So you would just skip book 7 is what you're saying?
Yeah, I'd say read a synopsis and move on.
Okay.
Still belter shit. And it's like, I just got over the belt. I got so fucking over the belters. I'm like, okay.
That might be my favorite book.
In season 5. I was like, I hate this, Jane. Like Jane was like, I'm like, how did we go back to the fucking belt? Like, what is happening right now? Why do we care about this?
I thought the whole thing was to get rid of them in the 5th and 6th book. Like, they had their great hurrah, they beat Earth, and oh great, now the entire fucking solar system is decimated and they were used dipshits. And then what's left has to unite
right against
fight
the big baddie.
And while there's still another big baddie.
Well, there's 2, I guess, because there's Admiral Duarte and his weirdo science experiments, whatever the fuck's going on, and then what you said with
I'll
this.
just come out and say it in book 7, 8, 9. It's just filled with SJW characters. It's like, I can't. It's so hard to read them. It's and they have no personality at all. And it's like, wow, because like the characters in the beginning of the books had tons of personality.
What happened, Gary? Like, do you think that the writers just became like SJWs? And
I think I talked about this in my last video. I think a combination of events that I don't think was a massive conspiracy or planned. I think it was just a combination of events, and Trump like just derailed a lot of people's creativity. A lot of their
TDS.
Yeah, TDS derails creativity. I think it does.
Oh,
it is sounding too like, as I look at it, it does remind me a bit of Game of Thrones in the sense that you have all of this politics happening and the focus on the human battles when there is a much bigger threat that you're also more interested in.
Right, the White Walkers.
In the background, and it never quite comes. It never quite gets.
Yeah, and it makes it's interesting, Jane, that you bring that up, because I think that's a little bit on us and a little bit on the author. That I think George. It took me a lot of time to figure this out, but George is way more focused on the politics than the others. Like, the others are important. The magic is important. But I think Dan and Dave's structure, their execution sucked, but I think the structure of the last episode, if you just look at it as plot points, that's how the book is going to end with those main characters, not the side characters. There's gonna be some differences, but I think Bran will end up on the throne. Yes.
Yeah.
I thought Bran was gonna end up on the throne from the beginning because like from when I read the books, because the way he had set it up, it starts with Bran. Like it's like Bran's story. So like the way he set it up felt like he was making it so that Bran becomes king in the end. That's what I thought was
I
going
think
to
both authors were focused more. No, the story is more about us than it is about that outer thing that's part of it that we're going to defeat, but it's still ultimately about like, can we live together?
Yeah.
And it's I mean, Jane, you know the books as much as I do. And the Expanse is very similar. It's written with a bit of a postmodern angle, a little bit. I mean, but they've at least early on, they like George dials it in. I think George does a great job of introducing feminist elements that don't feel like it, right? He treats every character like no character has plot armor. Like the female characters, horrible things happen to them, like horrible things happen. And it was the same in the Expanse. What the writers of the Expanse did that George, I don't think would. I think he'd rather not. Is they like when the female characters started having like major plot armor, just like bulletproof bar, like Bobby beating the shit out of Amos. I can't see that happening in any universe unless Amos is like catatonic, maybe. But like, Bobby beats the shit out of Amos in a book, and I know Amos is old, but yeah.
I don't see how.
I don't see fucking how either, but she does. And then like Amos ends up kind of better off than anybody else. Do you want to hear
that's good.
You want me to spoil?
Yeah, please tell us what happens.
Strange dog things. Amos dies. And,
no.
But gets put back together by the drones.
Oh.
So he becomes one of those like the little boy.
Yep.
Oh.
I don't know if I like that.
And they're not sure up until the point where I read if it's Amos or not. Seems like Amos, but this is the Amos in the books looks kind of like Dave Bautista, an old version of Dave Bautista. Yeah, he ain't pretty. He's a big thug.
How did they get there though? To get the dogs to put them back together.
He's on Laconia doing an operation, and he gets shot up to hell.
Ooh.
He's doing some good, but he gets shot up to hell, and then the drones just go out and put him together again.
I don't like that. I would much prefer him to have his glorious death and be done with it.
Yeah.
Maybe he did die. We don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
he died.
But taking over his body feels like he's being used again when he was used as a child. And I don't like that.
That kind of goes against the theme. I did not think of that. That is a good point.
That's interesting, Jane. Jane's smart. You know what I've realized about Jane, though, is I never want to get on Jane's bad side. She's like, you fucking bitch. If we're in war, I'm going to nuke your ass. I don't even fucking care. I'll throw asteroids at your fucking planet. I don't give a fuck. Don't get on Jane Theory's bad side.
Start a war, end it.
Theory says Amos is supposed to look a bit like Herc from The Wire. That's a good description. I think that's a good description.
I know Herc. Okay.
He's not pretty. I mean, like he's a big thug. And Naomi is like really tall and skinny, but like the Belchers don't look anything like they do in the show. They tried to do it in the season 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Like that, and then they gave up on it.
I hate that they did that. I loved how they started out with the different or I don't even know what you call them, different races, I suppose, all looking physically distinct. Like the Earthers, the Martians, the Belters, all look different. And they just dropped it.
Well, it's expensive to try and find a lot of tall, skinny people.
Yeah. It would have been so worth it.
I agree.
There's no fat belters.
Yeah, there's no fat belters. Darth Plato, thank you so much for the $5. Says, didn't care for the steering up the the entities. Just call it a Diabolus Ex Machina or Deus Ex Machina. and
it's
be done
Diabolus
with
Ex
it.
Machina. It's when the
Yeah.
villain wins
Oh,
miraculously.
Diabolus. Oh, yeah. Okay. When the villain wins. I mean, yeah, that's kind of true. That's kind of what they did. And it was totally the pirates because they're red.
I mean, I would have just left out the Laconia. If you knew this is how you're going to end it, honestly, I'd have just left out the Laconia stuff. I just
Yeah.
left it out and said, hey, we now have the gates to go through and we're together and we have of course, the answers to our problem are a trade union.
Which is like, no, a trade cooperative would be more appropriate because
Yeah.
Or they could have done like with The Walking Dead and just had those be like YouTube videos or mini videos or whatever. Those could have been the bonus episodes, the Laconia storyline.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really
Hmm.
good point. Like, this is something that may be out there, but yeah, just, in hindsight, just leave that all out. Kill Marcos. Kumbaya. Drummer is the most powerful person in the solar system now.
She's the best woman ever.
Well, I will say though, she lost a lot. Like she lost everything over and over and over and over and over again. So
Mhm. And I'm sure she regretted not spacing Marcos the first time.
yeah.
TSM Space, thank you so much for the 5 says, but the Belters never had a chance without the rocks. It was the only option. There's
And it wasn't just
always
any rocks. There were stealth rocks that were made by Martians. So and they stole them from the Martians because they were allowed to, because Mars had fallen. Which they really didn't explain well enough in the show. I mean, they kind of rushed by it.
They brushed it. Yeah, they just brushed
Mars
over
was collapsing, absolutely collapsing. And then all of a sudden it's supposed to mirror kind of like the Soviet Union when it originally kind of transitioned, and all of a sudden there's just all these nuclear weapons disappearing.
Yeah.
That's
and submarines and airplanes.
Yeah.
And then TSM Space, thanks again for the $5. Says the Earthers killed everyone on your Eros, a huge city in the Belters' mind, before Marco went flinging rocks.
Earth Corporation did it, but it wasn't Earth.
Yeah,
you could
Earth-
make an argument that the most of the belt was behind flinging rocks and killing billions of people. Like, Earth isn't responsible for a corporation's acts. The people are still innocent.
Yeah, the innocent people, like, they don't really have a say. Just like now, like, if you guys, like, for example, with the Iraq war, like, the people in the United States, a lot of people didn't agree with going to war with Iraq or Afghanistan, but your government did, and ended up doing horrible things there. But
it's the
like,
knee-jerk reaction. It's the thing of like, this corporation, this Earthers attacked us. It's like, well, no, it's the corporation attacked you. You go after the corporation. You stop buying their stuff, or you make your own if you can, or compete, or you do the good old-fashioned espionage. You get someone inside and then take that from the inside out. But like, that's the problem when you have, like, with mass people gathering together en masse saying like, this is the enemy. You kind of lose the sight of what your actual enemy is, and that's the politics of the Expanse, which I really enjoyed. Like, between Earth and Mars, they weren't paying attention as to who the actual enemy was. It was just the abstract of Mars and the abstract of Earth. And then when the belt gets involved, it's like, it's the abstract of the belt. They're all the same. They're just the workers. They assume they're uneducated, but they're not. They're actually like really competent engineers and miners, and they build stuff, and they kind of like are a staple. And I was thinking, like, those three aspects remind me a lot with regards to like the Minbari on Babylon 5. It's like, you got the worker class, you got the religious caste, you got the the warrior caste. It's like, oh yeah, they're all kind of there, and you can see the parallel.
But that was kind of weird to me too, how the Belters went in when they were so smart. I mean, it's pretty much a race of engineers. Like, how could they be so easily manipulated?
All good questions.
Desperation for food and water.
Yeah. Real quick, a sour cream citizen for 5 says a Ciabola Burn was the last good book in the series. Earth getting hit by asteroids was cool, and the only part of 5 I hate every other book in season. That's very interesting. I don't know if I'm ever gonna read the books, I'll be completely honest. I don't know.
You'd have to get through some bad books.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm willing now. There's just so much to read, and I'm like, I don't even know if I care anymore. I'm like, ugh, whatever. But Gary, thank you so much for stopping by tonight. Gary has to go, unfortunately. So please tell everyone. I mean, everyone already knows, but tell everyone where they can find you, what you're doing next, whatever you want to plug.
You can find me in Southern California, but I'm moving to Texas. But thanks. So you will see me on the Nooner tomorrow and on the Real BBC on Tuesday.
Yeah, the Real BBC.
Maybe a Nooner tomorrow because the BBC is on my channel on Tuesday, isn't it? So maybe. Working on another video right now. So thank you. And I just dropped a video a couple days ago. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. And
that's a great video.
Oh, thank you.
I loved it.
Harry's like leveled us all up. But definitely check out everybody's channel here. These are good people. These are very good people. So and I subscribe to them all and watch their stuff. And thanks everyone in the comment section. You're awesome.
Gary, you're the best. Thank you so much. See you
Thank you,
Tuesday.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Such a great guy.
That's awesome.
TSM Space for 5 says, but then Earth never punished the corporations, just allowed them to keep getting more wealthy.
Very true.
Well, that's what they do, though. Government works hand in hand with corporations, just like they do right now. Look what Nancy Pelosi's doing.
That's why they wanted to hold them all responsible.
Yeah. It's just the way
Government, corporation, same difference.
Yeah, they work very closely hand in hand. The Real BBC.
That's so funny.
It's true. Okay, but let's wrap this up because basically what happens with this kid is he finally decides at the very last minute that he is going to bow out. He's going to jump ship. But before that happens, just real quick, this is what happens to Marco. I just want to get this scene of his demise, which I was like, really? This is such a jip. Like, I wanted to see someone do this guy in, open the hatch so he can go to space or whatever.
And did we ever find out what actually happens to them when this happens?
Nope.
Yeah.
I'm guessing they get eaten by those creatures.
See, I was thinking they were getting transported somewhere, but I don't.
I thought they were going to that dimension. I don't know where that dimension is, like the space between space or whatever. So I thought that they're they
so weird.
That's going on. So our poll was right last week. No one spaced him. Well, no one spaced him, but Naomi technically killed him because she's the one that thought of this idea. And she's the one that, pressed the button in the end to get the ship to go near
It's about kinetic energy. So if you're traveling at a certain speed or certain aspects are happening, the red, whatever this is, takes over and does something. And so Naomi had to press the button, and then she collapses in Holden's arm because she realized she had to kill her kid.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, look, Holden was right again.
Yeah.
And that scene, that was sad.
Yeah.
What when she was imagining
when she screamed? I mean, it reminded me of that scene at the Red Wedding.
Oh, when she was crying again?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I didn't feel that at all. I was like, you already knew you were gonna kill him though. Like this scene.
Yeah, but that scene was
Yeah, I
had to
didn't
pause it.
feel it because she was but she had already dealt with that emotion. She's already dealt with the idea of wanting to kill him. It was
she had. She thought she had, but then when she actually did it and she saw the ship actually be destroyed, I think that's when it really hit her.
Then it really hit her. Okay, I can see that. Because she's a mom. And her reaction to this, is actually kind of what I expected to happen with the first mom. You know what I mean? My baby's back. Some sort of motherly instinct. And she had nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that wasn't scripted. Oh.
I can believe that.
It felt very raw.
It did. That one, that hurt. That was sad.
Demochnai says, I call it the anti-molecule.
It's opposite on the color spectrum to a degree, yeah.
Okay, then we get the scene of the UN or whatever. So now we got Rando Lesbo. What's it called? This lady.
So what's it called?
Belter. Rando Lesbo Belter lady at the table. She was such a bitch the whole time. It's like, what's she even doing here? So, but she's there because she's.
I think she
guess-
represents the faction that's still sort of on the fence.
Well, she's the Ceres leader, series station leader or whatever.
Yeah.
And then of course Drummer is like the head of the Belters now, basically. And then there is what's his name? Holden, the Earthers, the Martians, which we don't know any of them really, like character-wise, like except for her. We don't really know any of them at all. Like they're like, okay, like I don't know who the fuck this guy is. Like who
And
is
once
he?
again, the Martians weren't. They could have gone back to showing the visible physical differences, and they didn't do it.
No, they didn't do that. Bobby's there though for the Martians. Where are the Martians? They don't show the Martians at all.
There's not much of the Martians. You don't even know their infrastructure all that well. They're military, parliamentary type of thing.
Oh, so are they? But they're there, right?
They're at the table,
Yeah, they're
though.
there.
Yeah,
But
they're
you
at the
can't tell
table.
who they are.
Okay, they're. Hold on, that's a better shot. I can't tell.
They're sitting opposite Holden, I guess.
There we go. So this is Holden. Then you got the Earth people here. Then you got the Martians here. Oh wait, I think this guy's Earth. I think this is Martians right here, and then this is the Belt.
And they don't look Martian at all.
No, they really don't, do they? It's just like their uniforms that sets them apart. This guy, you can't even tell where he's at. Like, are you a Belter? Are you a Martian? Like, I don't know what you are.
He's too thick to be a Belter.
Okay, yeah, he's not a Belter because Belters are all on this side.
Yeah.
But is he a Martian or is he an Earther? Like, you can't really tell because he's not wearing the uniform. He's just there.
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But
It
these
wasn't
are-
well done.
And you got the flash symbol over in the left there. Yeah.
Oh my god, I did not even notice that. So they got stuff from Game of Thrones, they got stuff from Flash. What do we got here? Anything? No. So then they all like, you know what, Holden, I think you should be the leader because everybody was arguing about who should be the new leader of their weirdo group that they're building.
Essentially the trade union.
The trade union. They're making the trade union. Wait a minute, we have someone who is returned. Someone has returned. It's George.
Hey, I finished quickly. Sorry.
Hi.
Hi. I
welcome
always love you
back.
guys.
You're back. I didn't expect it. Well, welcome back.
I see y'all are at the ending. Did you see did y'all talk about his little y'all just about to get there. Did you watch Marcos burn?
Yeah, we watched
Yeah.
Marcos burn. We were wondering whether he's actually dead or not.
I don't think he's
I
dead.
should have asked Gary that before he left.
I have a funny feeling he's still.
Because we were thinking
Plotting
like,
his revenge.
Yeah.
like, is he like in the dimension kind of like, like lost in time kind of thing? Like, are they like in dimensions in between dimensions? But I don't know.
Has he merged with the bad guys?
That's what I thought. Yeah, it's Jane. See, you know what's so great is that you and Nina and Script come up with better ideas than any of these idiots.
Well, Gary said my idea was better than the fucking books. I'm
Well, it
like, man, I
is.
gotta start writing sci-fi.
Hell yeah. I still wish to know because I have that thing that just keeps eating at me. Script or either one of you, but I was going to ask Script because of writing, of the way he writes for shows. Do you think it's possible that when they know a show is done and they go, we just have X amount of episodes to finish, do they really care?
I mean,
That's what I
would.
feel. You would. I know, but I'm saying, like, in your experience, do others just not care? Like, I just want to move on to something else?
It depends on the showrunner and the staffing. Like, if they've been there since the beginning and they've already started getting tired of the work and they feel it's derivative and it's not going anywhere and they're only holding on to it because it's like it's a stable job and they don't want to really go out and start pitching again, I can see them kind of phoning it in. It's happened before. It happened on Battlestar Galactica. The Ron Moore one. And and could be the case here. Myself, like, because I've been kind of pushed back and forth, like on a tug of war, or maybe like a yo-yo, so to speak, where I
Yeah.
go in and out of the circles of town. I would just be grateful and always be trying to make the best show I could. And if I felt like we were kind of getting into that position, it's like, oh, we're kind of not really moving anywhere, I'd be like, okay, we're gonna figure out an end point to this, like a really satisfying ending, and that's going to be our target goal. And we're going to do that either within the season, or if we have to do 2 seasons, we can negotiate for that. That's what we're going to do, and just try to get it out, because I'm a big fan of like 6 or 7 seasons, and that's all you really need.
Okay.
And if you want to do like a follow-up to that, you start a brand new show, new characters, explore the lore, and build up onto that, and then continue it on. But yeah, don't draw something out longer than it has to be.
So no 15 season Supernaturals.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, that's
I'm
a
out on
rarity.
those.
No 30 seasons of The Simpsons, unfortunately. Like,
No, fuck
you don't need.
that. I'm out on those.
Soap operas can do that, but they also get rid of characters and bring in new ones all the time. So you have this fresh blood, and they also change out the writing staff quite frequently. So that's why it can keep on going. But it's not the same with this when you get into genre television. So
That's what was so great about Doctor Who, 50 years, and it was just always something new, even though it was the same basic story.
But it was until
but it worked on the
wasn't.
same type of dynamic, which is like, oh, we can freshen it up with a new Doctor
Right.
who draws on everything that happened before, but we're going to take it into new stories because he's got this kind of altered personality, as it were. And because it was such a cheap show, and because they focused more on the concepts and the philosophy of time, and conflicts and antagonists and whatnot, they were able to take it. And it was like, what, 25-ish years or so, straight from the 60s to the 80s, where it was really peak. Then it had its sort of absent. I mean, it technically, quote unquote, died, but nothing ever dies in entertainment. It just goes dormant. And Doctor Who went dormant throughout most of the 90s. And then in the early 2000s, it came back really strong. And now it's kind of on that line of dormancy again.
Do you think maybe a North American television could learn something from that? Maybe like take a show that was really strong, like The Expanse. Mm-hmm. Do we all agree that the first 4 seasons were pretty fabulous? Jane,
yes.
Nina? Okay. So imagine if they took the first 4 seasons, right? And they're like, let's give it a hiatus of a few years and come back, kind of like Doctor Who did.
Well, Doctor Who's hiatus was not of their own choice. The Sopranos took a hiatus in order to make sure they could write those final seasons proper. It's not usually a good thing to do, because anytime you're out of the conversation with regards to like broadcast and television, it makes coming back that much more difficult. A good example would be Conan O'Brien. When he took over The Tonight Show, and then he was negotiated out of that to be replaced again by Jay Leno. He had to, in order to secure the well-being financially of his entire crew, he had to sign a waiver where he would not be on television in any capacity outside of like basic interviews for 2 years. So and then when he finally did come back, nobody really wanted to watch his show on TBS, even though if he moved over there within a week, it probably would have killed NBC's Tonight Show.
Okay. So it was just a fluke then, you're saying, maybe for Doctor Who, that it worked?
Usually it was a fluke, but also they had a lot of good people behind it at that time. Storytelling mechanics were far more dedicated on what we can do based on what we can afford. But because now you have all this money being thrown around, you've got digital effects, and basically you can compete with theatrical films, essentially. You don't care so much, and that's one of the things that's different. And also, like, American television did do it well. I mean, you had All in the Family turned into Archie's Place, like, and it was still an ongoing series. You had shows like Columbo, Quincy MD. Those things went on for many years, decades even. Gunsmoke had like 20 seasons. But I mean, they know how to do it. It's not necessarily a cultural thing with regards to like British, American, or Russian or Japanese or anything of that nature. It's really all about responsibility, dedication to the craft, and knowing when to cut and run, so to speak. It's like, Seinfeld.
Like Seinfeld did, yes.
Like,
Seinfeld
they realized
like,
in season 8 that, like, they realized in season 8 they're like, we can't keep this going, not right now in the same way, so we better figure out a way. And unfortunately, they kind of fell short with their series finale, but their Curb Your Enthusiasm series finale that they did for Seinfeld, the remake of that, was actually quite good. That should have been the final one.
But looking back on it now, Script Doctor, like, that's debatable, because it's like it was actually really good, like, when you look back on it.
It was a clip. It was a different way to do a clip show or a reunion show because they brought back all those people to stand at his trial and all that stuff, which was really cleverly done. But I think it didn't have the impact that audiences were expecting to because previous other seasons had those big talk about moment shows or episodes, and it's like season 9 didn't really have that, not in the same way they wanted it to. And even the cast and crew within hours after it aired, they're like, "Oh, we really shouldn't have done it this way."
Yeah, but it's so funny because if you when you like the rewatchability though, like now it's like great. You're like, oh, that was a great ending. It just goes to show how much like things have changed. But anyways, let's wrap this one up because this one here, like basically what happens is Holden, they say you should be the president because you're kind of like the odd man out. You don't have any alliances to anybody, and everyone's like, yeah, Holden. And then Holden's like, nah, bro.
Oh, you just missed the guy with the arm.
Yeah, I was trying to get him. There he is. Come on, arm guy. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
This was the scene where my eyes were literally like in the back of my head. By the way, everybody,
2 episodes for this one shot.
Right.
10 more likes to 300. Please, everyone, smash the like. And also, real quick, Demond and I for 2 says, "I'm still with Amos. Christian was looking nice."
Yep.
Yeah, she's very beautiful. And Josh was asking how many seasons of The Expanse will there be?
9.
This is it.
9.
No more.
No more.
But this scene too sort of goes back to what we were talking about before. They could have found Belter looking extras for this scene.
Yep.
Yes, they could have. They just like they're phoning it in at this point, Jane. They were like, "Oh, let's just like put a bunch of tattoos on these people's face and call them Belters." Like that was basically it. It like and like shave the side of their head, like shaved head, tattoo on face, done. Like it's
Done.
like wear like a black fucking shirt, done. Shaved head. Like I'm surprised her fucking head's not shaved.
Yeah,
she's got braids
she probably
going on.
Earthling, maybe. Who knows? Get him.
No, that's the girl. That's the other girl. That's the polyamorous girl.
That's her.
She's probably on another show and could do it.
I thought she had a tattoo. She had a tattoo on her head, or face, or neck. Somewhere.
It's probably on the other side.
Well, then they got him a Walmart arm, robot arm, like for Halloween. Like, hey, here you go.
It looks CGI.
It's
probably a glove, like a vinyl glove with paint. They painted over it.
Oh, it just looks cheapy.
TSM Spacer 5 says, and then during his speech, Holden say, "We cannot be Holden." Oh my god, I didn't catch that.
Neither did I.
There's sex bots in my chat.
Sex? Oh, the Russian stuff.
I'm just trying to block these people. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. I think somebody got it. Okay, then they're all clapping like, "Oh my god, yay!" Oh, and this chick like we're briefly shown. She's there too.
Oh, the annoying reporter.
The annoying reporter that was like not doing much the whole season. She's there.
What did she accomplish exactly?
She created propaganda for Avasarala. That was the entire.
Did solve nothing.
No, I didn't do anything. Then they're all there. Naomi is at least a little dressed up. Like she's got like some lipstick on, which is kind of nice. Wait, did she do her eyebrows then? Maybe she like did it. Okay, hold on. We gotta find a. There we go.
No, they're not really.
No eyebrows done. She's just got some lipstick on.
More tattoo.
Her hair is growing out a little bit. Same tattoo. Bobby's looking good.
Bobby always looks the same though.
No, she's
at
like
least she wears makeup.
Yeah, she's like, I'm waiting for a fight.
Yeah.
And then Holden's like, nah, never mind. I'm gonna give my position as my first act as president. I'm gonna like resign and make her president.
But Avasarala was like, don't you do it.
I was like, bruh, are you serious right now? Like,
I can see your perspective.
Well, yeah, because he just lied. They set this up. I'd have spaced his ass if I was Avasarala.
I was pissed too. And you know what? I don't agree with him at all.
No.
I think that he was the one. I think that he would have brought balance to the force.
Yep.
But
he
would have kept things stable. But I don't think Drummer would shift things to make everything worse for the inners. That's the concept. I think she'd be like, no. This is exactly how it has to be for I know what the belt needs in order to survive, and if they survive, you survive, that type of thing. Where
Yeah.
Holden would try and find a balance of all three right away. So yeah, I think this was the right call overall, but I completely understand what Avasarala was thinking here. It's like, no, you have to let other people get used to that relationship first before you step down, because now this is a shock to the system.
Yeah. I just don't agree with that. I think that Holden, the reason they've all settled on Holden at that table was because of all their differences. And then he was like, okay, fine. Like, I'll become leader. So you guys, like, they can be a
He
mediator,
lied.
I
right?
He
don't
lied.
I
I
don't
don't
think
like
that's
that.
why they did it though. I think they did it because they thought that they could use Holden.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I think they
Use them
felt
against what?
Them, the Belters?
to keep the Belters in line. Like, you'll be in charge of the Belters, but we'll be making decisions. Like, I think that's what they thought.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Yeah,
I viewed it differently. That's why I thought Holden would be good because, see, I don't really like the whole he takes too much of the middle road, and usually that ends up pissing both people off because you can't make everyone happy all the time. That's
right.
what Avasarala has learned. She went from let's roast them all to you got to find solutions which are practical. You just can't, because the Belters have different needs than the inners, the Earthers.
Mm-hmm.
And when he did that deceptively, I was like, that shoots his credibility to me. Like, if you were looking at it from Avasarala, I'm like, well, you didn't negotiate in good faith. That's true. Therefore, this is bullshit. This is called off.
It does, but I think he played the same game they had been playing. And if they did call it off, they would have just ignited a new war.
It would have ignited.
It would have been
war.
right back at the beginning again.
Yeah.
I mean, strategically speaking, like what you would do if Holden wanted responsibility, because that's one thing he doesn't want. He just wants to do his thing. But if Holden wanted real responsibility, he would be present for like a year and just make sure the infrastructure's there. And then he was like, I got to step down because now that we have the infrastructure, now that we can kind of trust each other, now here's the real ultimate test of trust, which is Drummer's now going to be in charge of this thing for however long she wants, or however long the Belters or whatever decides to keep her around.
Mm-hmm.
And she's already had this 1 year where she's able to fortify how reliable and trustworthy she is by being able to cooperate with someone like Holden. And then also with the VP, they do go out on, like, whatever type of government you have. A vice president usually just goes out and schmoozes with the other people so that they build those relationships. Drummer would be in a perfect position to understand tactically the other sides in a far more nuanced way than what she has right now.
But don't you think it would have been given an opportunity if she would have actually remained the vice president, learn something? Drummer has really never...
yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. Yeah, sorry if I glitched up there. But yeah, it's basically the relationships. You got Holden as the face man, and Drummer's learning the politics now on a far more intimate level than before, so that when she does take over, she's got all the resources.
Right, exactly.
To her benefit. Now she's really just working on conjecture, because that's what Drummer has been doing this entire time. It's all of her assumptions of Earth, all of her assumptions of Mars, based on her own input. But again, they're only partially informed.
Yeah, but that's the other thing too, right, Script? Because you were saying about that they needed this kind of like step, but I just don't think that it didn't portray that in the dialogue, because in the dialogue it was saying like they were all going at each other, and he said, if we don't trust each other by now, we're never going to trust each other. And then they were like, okay, well then let's have you, the impartial one, be the leader so that we can all trust that you'll do the right thing. And then he's like, you know what, never mind, we're just gonna give it to the Belts. Like, it's just, it seems so fucked up. Like, I don't know,
it does, but I think that he knows his people. He knew they were lying. And it was never going to work, because they will always be trying to get him to manipulate the situation in their favor.
That's all. That's also true. I guess maybe that's
I
that. I don't think Avasarala was maybe like her thing, because I think she was genuine. I don't think that she was.
I think she had a genuine catharsis. She changed.
I think she changed, and she wanted Holden to be the one in charge. I don't think that she was going to betray them and just do her own thing and not listen to the Belt. But maybe her surroundings, maybe that's what you're talking about. The other thing too is that, Script, you said Holden doesn't want power because he wants to do his own thing. He tells us exactly what he wants to do at the end of the season, at the end of the episode, when he's talking to Naomi.
Yeah.
And he tells us what things are missing in this
Protection against the trade routes.
Right.
He wants to run
protection
security.
against the trade routes. He talks about how, there's still a proto molecule out there somewhere they got to deal with.
He gives
There's
a
probably
list of
going to be
potential
more.
season 7
Yeah,
stuff that we're
more
never going to see.
piracy is going to happen. Like he tells us all the stuff that might happen, but that we're never going to get to see, which I thought was really unfair for them to put that kind of like. I don't know. I didn't like what they did with that. I thought it was really fucking dumb. Binary Bard for 5 says Steven Strait looks really thin in this season. I don't remember him being that scrawny looking. I brought that up in like the first episode or the second episode when he was like lying on the bed and he looked like deathly ill.
Yeah.
And people like a script doctor, you said it's because like he has cancer in the show. Like in the show, he has cancer, like his character. So
Yes.
we think that it could be because he's taking those like kind of like medications or whatever for that, not the actor. The character has.
No, I think the actor's just losing weight to reflect that.
Yeah, I think so too. But people in the chat seem concerned. Like, was the show canceled because like he's sick? No, the show was canceled because it just didn't have enough viewing, I think.
Well, Amazon claims it didn't have enough viewing, but I'm pretty sure its numbers were complimentary to like Star Trek Picard after like the last like few episodes of that first season.
Yeah, and also it like probably the Koof stuff, the Alex stuff, like all that stuff, all added on to it, I think. But yeah, so and I thank you everyone for the 300 likes. Thank you so much. And then we had the scene. It showed a Philip finally deciding to leave. He leaves in the skiff that that guy taught him how to drive.
He also changes his name.
And then he changes his name. Yeah, he changes his name to Philip Nagata, which I thought was sweet. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't really feel all that bad for you. You're kind of a murderer. But all right. This is the scene that I thought like here instead of like this part where like talking about it, and then they kind of like they show the spaceship going into distance. So this is the scene that I thought that there could be because they're showing us that Philip chose to leave, right? And this is supposed to be kind of like the future. Like this scene's supposed to be the future. This is the past where he decided to leave before they went into that whatever dimension.
Ring. Right.
Yeah. Dimension ring or whatever. He changes his name to Nagata. He's looking for her clearly, like he's now, her son again. So like I thought that it would have been really cool if like there was kind of like a knock at the door and she goes to like open the door and it's him. Like
in space?
Yeah, like it's like well not like
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean though? Like it was like
That would be funny.
he gets on the ship. Like
Yeah.
he calls
But that would be funny, floats right next to him and then just like uses the gravity
or they
boost.
could have made this scene was like not on the Rossi. They could have made it so that this scene was like on on this where they were where they were having that. Yeah, where they were having that ceremony.
I would much rather it be somewhere random, like how she found him.
Oh, that's
where
cool.
he comes through the door, mirror that scene.
And then she swings a knife at him. How are you alive?
Yeah. Oh my god, that would have been hilarious. So either that or what I said, like with the alien invasion. So like the other scene that I was thinking of is like you could have had the ending be because this is the ending, like they just go into space.
Go on and on.
And the other scene that I thought was in this scene where you have like basically like he says like she's the new leader or whatever. You have a kind of like a far angle shot of where like how it started to begin with, like this scene kind of thing. You go like you have another shot of them there with drummer at here instead of him, right? Then you kind of like pan up and you like pan down and it says like however many years later.
Oh, I see.
And then you see like, basically that they're bringing in their new president, like they're welcoming their new president that's been elected or whatever, whoever that may be, whether it's a Belter, Earth or Mars person, whatever, right? They're like, I'm the new leader, and as your new leader, like I'm gonna be doing this, this, and this. And then all of a sudden it's like they get like a call, like emergency calls where like, oh, the gates have been active and like blah, blah, blah. Like you gotta see what's going on, and then they tune in and they see this fucking fleet coming through,
Right.
and like that's your ending.
Yeah.
Done.
That would have been cool.
It's sad we never got any more. I thought we were going to get to discover who they
Oh yeah,
were.
by the way, Clarissa's alive. That's the other thing. There she is.
Which is so
And she gets a
dumb.
dog.
She gives him
Badge.
that pin. She's like, if you had never come to see me, you wouldn't have lost this pin. So here you go. And then
Oh,
she gives
right.
him the pin.
That's right.
Oh,
She
so
shows
stupid.
her. She shows hers. Isn't it that right after that? She gives him
Yeah,
one.
she made one
her
for herself. So
lapel.
they have matchy pins now.
Friendship pins.
Yeah. And they're not gonna. And she's like, I mean, they didn't even talk about whether she's like told him she's gonna die or not, or she seems like she's fine with the fact that she's dying now. I don't really know,
This
but
whole situation was unnecessary.
Mhm.
so, and that's it. The end. That's the show ends in space, in the expanse. There you go.
Wow.
Twinsies. So thank you everybody for joining me tonight for discussing the expanse. I think we've kind of like given our overall thoughts already and talked about it enough. But if you guys want to add anything to your overall thoughts, please go ahead. Jane, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
No, I'm just mad.
Mad. I'm mad and
second it.
disappointed too. Like I really the show felt like it just feels so different from season 1
Yeah.
to season 5 now. Like because
6. Yeah.
the beginning of the end was season 5 for me. Like as I was like season 4 was great, and then season 5 I was like, oh no, because they just went really, really hard with season 5. I have a couple more super chats that I forgot I had to read by Mikey Guzzler. I hope you're still around. I'm sorry, Mikey, I didn't get to this because they were totally off topic. But here we go. Mikey Guzzler for 5 says Sophie Turner has been seen with red hair and James McAvoy and bald again. Think they will appear in Doctor Strange 2? I don't think so, but I don't know.
I don't either.
I
No
really
reason
don't
why
think
they shouldn't, and there's no reason why they should at this point.
Right.
so. Yeah, but
I don't think Doctor Strange will be in it that much, honestly.
Sophie Turner is not going to be in it. They're not going to throw in the X-Men in it now. I don't think so. Not yet. And this is a Marvel one. This is not a Sony one. So this is like Marvel. This is MCU.
Right.
So
It's all Marvel.
well, you know what I mean. Like this is MCU. This is not Sony MCU.
Spider-Man
It's not like
verse.
Spider-Man.
I
Sony
got
only
you.
distributed the film. They didn't make it.
I thought they had the veto right for everything that happened in it.
Not really. I mean, it's a negotiating thing, but everyone who worked on No Way Home, all those Spider-Man films, they're all from Marvel Studios.
Okay.
Like Marvel hired them all and told them what they can and can't do, and Sony would be like, "Yeah, we
But
can."
I'm saying
go
the
with this." Yeah.
property though, Scrib, not like whoever works on this film. I'm talking about the property, like Sophie Turner's in the X-Men kind of thing, like as Jean Grey. I don't think they're gonna put in the X-Men right now.
Oh, you're saying
Like
at this
Sony-
time because they keep
Yeah.
talking. Eventually, they're going to bring them in. I see what you're saying. You're
Yeah,
saying
Yeah, but I
mean,
don't think
I
they're
think-
gonna do it for
yeah.
Doctor Strange 2. I don't.
I could see.
No, I
more
think I don't think
Fantastic
those would be
Four.
the people that would draw people in for Doctor Strange 2. Sophie,
Yeah, I
like
know.
Famke Jensen, probably. I don't
Yeah.
think Sophie Turner. Yeah,
Famke Jensen, definitely.
And James McAvoy, who the hell does he play? I don't remember.
he's Professor Xavier.
Professor X.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's what he is. That's right.
Remember, he
I
did
totally
Wanted.
forgot. I was thinking of him in Split for some reason. I'm like, who the hell? Like, where
He
did
was
oh.
also
Beast.
Leto II in the Dune Children of Dune series.
Yes, he was. The
Yeah, I
Fall of the
totally
Golden-
forgot that he was Professor X. Yeah, he's young Professor X because
Yep.
I know Professor X as Patrick Stewart.
I
Yeah.
like the young versions better.
I don't
Yeah,
like
young
the
version
young
is better.
versions. I don't. What? You guys think young version is better than Patrick Stewart? Are you kidding
Patrick
me?
Stewart's good, but Patrick Stewart is still Patrick Stewarting.
Yeah.
I can see your point,
He's
but I still
totally
like
Professor
Magneto.
X to me.
I like Ian McKellen's Magneto better.
Yeah,
I
me
love
too.
young Magneto too.
I don't like any of the young people. I'm like, ugh, the young people. Get out of here.
Fassbender is the best Magneto.
Although the
period.
only, I guess, the young people that I did like was Jennifer Lawrence. Though she's hot. I like her.
I didn't like her character that much. I liked the other one.
She's kind of plain.
I just think she's hot.
Rebecca Romaine is
Wow.
hot.
Yeah.
That's also true.
Yes.
Way hotter.
Way hot.
Yeah.
She's like a 10 compared to Jennifer Lawrence. Mikey Gusler for 5 says, when the Lord of the Rings show comes out, how much backlash do you anticipate from the defenders? Do you think you'll be called multiple names? I think this question is probably for Gary, but I will answer for him. Yes.
I think we're all bracing for this. I don't even know if I'm gonna watch it as it like airs. I
I'm
don't
not
know if I
watching
can
it.
take it.
I'm gonna watch it. I want to review. I love Lord of the Rings.
I just don't know
I
if I
love
can
it
take
too.
it.
I'm not
I don't
watching
think the
it.
people working on it really love Lord of the Rings.
I'm not gonna watch it because
At all?
no.
There's
I
members
like
of
Lord of
J.J.
the
Abrams
Rings way too much. I don't
support
think
in
I'm
there.
gonna like. I can't stand that. So, but like, if because Gary's gonna watch it.
Yeah.
He
So
is.
if Gary says it's good, then I'll watch it. But if it's like, I don't want to watch a shit show of something I really love. That's why I didn't watch Picard. That's why I didn't
Yeah.
watch Discovery season 2 because I'm like, I
You
can't
don't want
watch
it to
these
ruin
IPs
what you
get
love.
destroyed anymore, man. I
That's-
just can't do it anymore.
I feel the exact same way, but it's with this, it's next level. Like I cannot watch them ruin this.
Yeah, I can't watch them ruin this either. Because I know you're gonna watch the new Game of Thrones too, Jane. And that's kind of
I
like
am for the dragons.
yeah, but that's also gonna be like hardcore. Like it's gonna be different.
But
I
I
think
wasn't-
it's gonna be
For me though, Game of Thrones or Song of Ice and Fire wasn't as an emotional. Like I don't have a deep connection to it. I read the books ahead of the show specifically because the show was going to air, right?
Mm.
So I wasn't a long time fan before I read the books. Here, this is different.
yeah.
Like this is a completely different situation, and I really like. I don't know what I would do. I'm just gonna wait and
I'm
see
gonna
what everyone
wait.
has to say.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait. If Gary and them say it's good, I'll be like, okay, sure, I'll watch it. But other than that, fuck that. Mikey for another $10. Thank you so much. I will. You know what? I will ask Gary this question on Tuesday. Because you sent this for Gary. I'll message him and I'll tell you what he says on Tuesday on the Real BBC. So he says, Gary, do you think we will get the third cuts of the Lord of the Rings films this year? My theory is that 2021 had shortage problems, so they couldn't release it, and maybe they want to tie it into the show. Script Doctor, do you know anything about this?
I do know that there's lots of extra footage from Lord of the Rings. I'm hoping to see more, but I don't know. I wish I had an answer for you. I'm sorry, Mikey.
He talked
I
about
know.
that one stream. I can't remember what he said about it, but Gary did talk about that.
Well, Robert Meyer Burnett, by what I understand, he has a lot of footage.
He filmed a
Doesn't
lot
he?
of stuff. Yeah.
He has a lot.
I don't know if he has access to all of it, but I know
12
he
hours
has
or
stuff.
24
Yeah.
hours. It's a lot, supposedly.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
There's tons of behind the scenes stuff, and there's tons of scenes that just were filmed but never made it into the final cut nor the extended cut. So there's more out there.
I would love to see that. That's cool.
Because Jackson, at least the whispers were online in different magazines and articles that Jackson had after the 20-year release or at the 20 years, he was going to add an additional 25 minutes onto the extended cuts, each of them.
Oh, wow.
That's what I was waiting for.
That's cool. I would love that. And then Mikey, again, for another 5 anticipated physical media releases. Godfather 4K collection comes out in March, overseen by Coppola and includes both cuts of the third film.
Mm.
Ooh, okay. So here's the thing.
Interesting.
I've never seen Godfather 3.
What?
What?
Zaza.
It's the most quotable one.
Yeah. it got all
I
of
never
that.
watched the third one. I've only seen the first 2, and I've forgotten it because I was like really young when I watched both of those movies. So I'm like, I mean, I remember the first one because I've seen it several times, but the second one I don't even remember anymore.
My friends still make fun of me when we saw that in the movie theater because they all cried when the daughter died. I cried when Pacino was an old man and the orange came out. I was like, God damn it, now he's dead. They're like, dude, the daughter died. I'm like, the hell with her. The old man is gone.
But I've also heard Godfather 3 is not as good.
It
That's
is.
one of the reasons that I
It
never
isn't.
watched it.
But it's quotable. Jesus, it's got so many quotes.
Really? Okay, maybe I'll
It's
watch
very it's a peculiar thing. It's not the best of the three, but it's darn quotable.
You know, they pulled me back in. I was out, but they pulled me back in.
Oh,
With all-
really? Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I've never seen the third one. I've only watched the first two, and I was like, okay, I'm over it. I kept hearing it's not as good. So what are your anticipated media releases, you guys? Anyone? I don't have any. I have nothing.
No, nothing that's
gonna-
ringing a bell right now.
No, I'm just going to watch that 1883. I think I'm going to start reviewing the Yellowstone because I really like Yellowstone.
Ooh, that's cool. I've heard really good things about it, including from
It's
you.
really
So
good. It's really
I
good.
do want to watch that. I guess if this weird Lord of the Rings thing happens, I'm down for that. That sounds fucking awesome.
Arcane. We were talking about Arcane last time too.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's not a media. That's already out.
No.
That's not really
So new release.
Like physical media stuff, anything
Physical
like
media.
physical media.
Okay. Sorry.
like if
I
there's
mean-
something releasing on DVD for the first time or something
my
like that.
my
you know.
Ghostbusters Ultimate Collection is coming in a couple of weeks, so
There's that. Yeah.
When does Spider-Man come?
Ooh,
I
that
think
looks
it goes
good.
to Disney Plus next month and gets because all the advanced sales for the steel boxes are sold out. So
I don't know.
Yeah,
any more
Spider-Man.
releases.
Spider-Man. Yeah, yeah, I'm excited for that. I guess. But thank you so much, Mikey, for those super chats. And 200 Watt Studio for 5 says Farsi is a beautiful language when spoken by a beautiful woman. Thank you, Nina. You're welcome. Demogenite, thank you so much for the $5. Says I think that ending should have been something like something live or like I probably like what you said, kind of like Mass Effect 2 when the Reapers were going to come through the master like yeah, exactly like that, or like in Dark Matter, Joseph Malazzi did the same thing for the final season that got canceled. Like, and that was a crazy scene with the alien ships coming through the portal, and
Well,
really really cool.
I just read that the Dune 4K came out this week.
Ooh,
oh
It says
That's
4K,
dope.
January 11th.
and that's the Villeneuve one.
Yep.
Awesome.
Oh my God, Philip A. Janik says most anticipated 4K song. No, it's not.
I don't know. I think there'd be a lot of people that want to get that just because it's not on Disney Plus.
That's also true. But are they making it into 4K? I think he's joking.
No, Disney's not dumping that out.
He's joking. He's got to be joking.
Birth of a Nation.
But yeah, it was The Expanse though. Just it was a very disappointing ending. But
Went out with a whimper.
yeah,
Oh,
definitely
wow.
a whimper. Not a bang. It was a whimper. But that's the thing though. Like I feel like if somebody was to ask me, should I watch The Expanse, I wouldn't like recoil in disgust the way I do with Game of Thrones. Like I wouldn't be like, no, fuck that. Like don't watch it. I'd be like, yeah, watch it, especially season 1 to 4. It's really good. Just expect not a great ending with regards to season 5 and anything you think of like alien stuff. Just don't think that it's gonna happen. Like it's not, like just go in prepared for that. But other than that, like there's a lot of good things about The Expanse. I don't hate it the way I did with Game of Thrones. Like I'm not like, but I feel I don't know if it's because I'm so like desensitized now to failure and like complete just devastation that I don't really know. Is it because I'm desensitized or is it because it really wasn't that bad? I don't know.
Well, I just found 2 4Ks that are coming out in March. It's Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the Kenneth Branagh one, and David Cronenberg's Eastern Promises, which I liked his films.
That was really good.
With Viggo Mortensen.
Yes.
He's a Russian gangster.
I never saw that. What is
It
that
was
called?
so good.
Oh, Eastern Promises. That's brilliant. I loved it.
Yeah,
Really
Eastern
well
Promises
done.
is pretty dark. I liked it too.
Yeah, because he did another. Because there's 3, but they're different. It's like then the next one was History of Violence with Viggo
History of
Mortensen.
Violence was also
History of
great.
Violence was fucking good.
Yeah, but that's in that kind of trilogy. They're not connected, but it's his. I forgot what he called it, like a trilogy of anger or something. But Eastern Promises is either 1 or 2 in there. I don't know what the
I
third
can't
one
remember
is.
if it was.
I never
I think it
watched
came after
this.
History of Violence, maybe.
There's supposed to be 3. I never
Yeah.
saw the third one. I don't know if it was released or when it's supposed to come out, but I saw Eastern Promises and History of Violence. I love both.
So you like this? Eastern Promises is good?
Oh,
Okay, I
yeah.
might watch
That's
it.
very good.
Really, Jane? You like it?
Yes,
Okay.
I loved
I might
it.
watch this because I like Vigo and
Vigo
dude,
at his best.
he looks hardcore in this movie.
Oh.
Damn.
He does this thing in the trailers, which is you never forget it. He just like when he's talking to someone, he does like this, like he's gonna kill
Wait,
him.
I'm not looking at the screen. I was looking at naked Vigo Mortensen. What was it? What did you do?
He does
What did
this thing, which if you look at the trailer, it's like someone's talking to him because he's in a Russian syndicate. So he does like this. He's like,
Okay. Yeah,
it's just it's really weird. But the way he looks, it's like he's gonna like kill you just by looking at him. It was a really powerful scene.
Well, okay, he's not naked. I'm gonna show it because he's not naked. But I was like, wait, what is this?
Oh, he
Like,
goes to
Where
a
what-
Russian.
he's
He
showing
goes
his
to a
tats.
Russian. Yeah, he goes
yeah,
to a
he's like
Russian.
he's shirtless in front of a bunch of dudes. I'm like,
He
what
goes
is
to a-
happening in this movie?
Yeah, you have to understand. That's why you have to, because it's a Russian gang, and they go through this history, which is the fact that they can tell what your history is by your tattoos. Each tattoo
Yeah.
represents something. This is the killer.
Oh.
You were in prison here. You served time here.
It tells your
Yeah.
story.
Yep.
Oh, okay. This just looked really gay. I was like, why is he standing in front of these dudes? Like,
Kind of like the
okay.
tattoos they get. I can't remember if it's associated with ninjas or whatever in the East.
Yeah, they like the Yakuza. That's exactly
Yeah,
what it's like there
Yakuza.
too.
So
Yeah.
they go through all that, like what you see, and one's like, okay, you were in this prison for murder, this one for a bombing, and you spend time.
I mean, the
with this.
cartels, that's how they communicate here too, is by the tattoos. That's
Like,
fine.
yeah, that
Oh.
doesn't really. It's like if you want to be like a very dangerous and mysterious person, you shouldn't get any tattoos
Right.
because like,
Yeah,
you don't
pretty
have any
much.
ink on you. It's like I know I've never been caught. You know.
Yeah, I'm
that
very
gets
familiar with
scary.
that.
Well, I think it's to
tattoo.
communicate, like, who
It
they are
is.
as soon as you see it.
Because then they'll go, you were in so and so. Well, now we can check up on you by asking so and so who was at the same place. Does he know you? Were you good? Were you a rat? Were you? I'd
You
watch
wear
it.
your resume.
Yeah.
It's
I'd
also kind
watch
of
it.
comparable to a battle flag, or a national flag that's supposed to tell you a little bit about who you're coming up against.
That's true. Mikey Gustler for 5 says James Cameron's The Abyss comes out for the first time on 4K Blu-ray.
Oh.
Ooh, that sounds good. I love that movie.
be
Overseen
cool.
by comes out Blu-ray this fall. Overseen by Cameron himself. Hope it
Oh.
includes both cuts.
Oh, the
Ooh.
extended is so great.
That
That's the one.
actually sounds really cool, Mikey, because I love The Abyss. The Abyss was one of the coolest movies ever. By the way, for some reason, I checked out the app, like the status for the Avatar the other day.
Mhm.
You know, it's supposed to come out this year.
Is it?
Yeah,
Because
they're listing as a 2022 film.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, like we'll see, right? Like I don't know.
I think they have they have dates or anticipated dates or goals for dates for each one of the upcoming movies.
Yeah, well, the next one for Avatar 2 is stated for 2022.
Yeah. And they have a date for
Oh.
23 and
yeah. But I mean, I thought that was pretty shocking. I'm like, wow, 2022 now? Like, holy shit. Like that's like
10
it might
years?
come out. It's been like a long time.
I'm
yeah,
ready
10
for
years.
it.
We've been ready, Jane. We've been ready.
It's gonna be
Oh,
good.
I was not a fan of Avatar. I thought special effects wise awesome, but
I
characters
wasn't
were-
either.
were boring.
I loved it.
It was dances with wolves in
In
space.
space, yeah.
I was like, this story is shit. Like it was not. I did not like the story, and I had like weird. What's the word? Like animal love, and I was like, I'm not like what
Interspecies
Cameron's-
relationships.
Yeah, James Cameron's weird, man. Like he's into some bestiality shit or something. Like,
They're
I
not
don't know.
animals though.
No, like dude, when like the animal people would attach their hair to like the tail and there
Oh,
was,
when
like,
they
the
bonded
sexual-
with the animal.
Yes, I was like, what the fuck is happening right
That
now?
was their banging time.
It was weird. I'm like, dude.
Not the
Talk
horses.
about
That was
alien.
just so that they could have a connection. A
No,
mental
no, the horses.
connection.
I'm talking about with each other, with the girl and the guy.
There was furry stuff, Jennifer. You know there was furry stuff in there. All right. We're gonna wrap it up on the furry stuff. It's a wrap, people. Thank you so much for to the panel who's joined me tonight. It's been 3 hours. That was crazy. What a boy, what an ending. Okay, Jane, tell everyone where they can find you and your final thoughts if you have any.
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube. I post movie and television reviews and occasionally some pop culture commentary. You can also find me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram at Jane Theory.
That's amazing, Jane. Peaky Blinders is really good. I still haven't seen season 5. And you know what's so crazy is I thought it ended with season 5, and I think that's why I held watching it for so long. And I was like, I don't want it to end, so I just like didn't watch it. And then now I've heard there's a season 6, so I'm like, what? The
Yeah,
fuck? Okay, so I have to catch up on Peaky.
amazing.
Are they all out? Like, is season 6 like done?
I don't know.
I'm still on season 5, so I'm not sure.
Oh, you don't know? Okay. Yeah, I gotta watch season 5. Script Doctor, tell everyone where they can find you, and if you have any final thoughts.
Final thoughts is that, yeah, unfortunately, the Expanse kind of pittered out at the end. I mean, I'd still recommend watching it. Just the first few seasons are pretty good, solid, amazing writing for a sci-fi network show, and then it held its own for 2 seasons when it did Amazon. 5 was kind of disappointing, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. If you want to see some of my content, I do have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/scriptdoctor, where I do have analysis and breakdowns of film and television. And you can also find me on Twitter at scriptdoctorphd, where I post some weird stuff and where I'm going to be. I think sometime tomorrow, I'm going to be on The Real Deal with Tom Conkle talking about Lawrence of Arabia. So I don't know exactly when that time's going to be, but keep an eye out on Twitter. And I'll retweet when and where that will be. For you all.
Love Lawrence of Arabia.
Me too.
Yeah, great movie. Classic. George, thanks for returning, and tell everyone where they can find you and final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I think I share Jane's thoughts. I'm mad.
Disappointed and mad.
I mean, it's like by the end of this last season, all I was interested in was Bobby and Amos were gonna bang. After that, once I realized we're not gonna get the dimension aliens or the proto-molecule,
I think I'm just numb to disappointment at this point, you guys, because
Right.
I was like, when I really realized that they weren't gonna do it, like I think it was a few episodes ago, and I went through my mad phase. I was like, I already knew that they weren't gonna do anything with it, so I was already like, okay, whatever.
It's the same. I get the feeling, you know how in the last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones, where D&D, the producers,
Yeah.
where it was rumored, I don't know if it happened right then and there, maybe Script knows, where they got the contract to do the Star Wars trilogy. It's like I felt like they're like, let's just get this shit out of the way so we can get over to Disney and make Star Wars. Of course they did,
but in
and then
this
they
case,
lost
these
it.
guys don't got shit going on,
Right,
so
I know.
no one knows.
Well, they jumped. Well, yeah, they were. So anytime you write something that's a hit, you always want to have a good deal as your next step, and they got one with Disney. The biggest mistake that Dan and Dave did was they didn't actually create a writer's room. They were the only 2 ones doing the real writing. They had assistants, and they decided not to hand off the series to someone else when HBO wanted to keep it going.
Yeah, because they wanted to go to 10, right?
Yeah, at least they wanted that exclusivity, and I completely understand why. Because then you could say, like, yeah, we're the sole proprietors of this show. We're the reason it's good. That's why we want these, several $100 million contracts, which they managed to get with Disney. And then that was they had left that to go take on Netflix, because by the time that Netflix offer had happened, the last few episodes of Game of Thrones had already aired with such negative response. They needed to secure some cash quickly, and Netflix was able to pay them because I think Disney had something where it's like no payment until you start delivering, and they had nothing to deliver, and so they just jumped ship and went over to Netflix, and now they're kind of going into obscurity right now, which is not where you want to be in Hollywood.
No, not at all. That's
it's kind of like, did they have to disappear just to not get flack for the ending?
I don't think they disappeared voluntarily. It's just they put stuff out and nobody's watching it.
And there's a channel called A Dragon Demands.
Uh-huh.
You all should subscribe to it. It's like he's dedicated to destroying them.
Oh,
really? Oh my
dragon,
god,
okay.
that's funny.
Well, they wrecked the series.
Is the Orville on Amazon? I don't remember where it is
Hulu.
now.
It's on Hulu.
Hulu. Okay. Okay. That's what I was wondering. I was like, where is any good sci-fi now? Like anywhere? And then
Silent
I was
Sea.
thinking Orville.
You told
but-
me to watch the Silent Sea. I've been enjoying
Yeah,
it.
that was good. That was
Oh, you're
good.
finished with it. I haven't finished with it. Okay.
No, yeah, I finished it in like one go. That was so good. I couldn't stop watching it. It was like totally bingeable. It was like 10 episodes of like fantastic story. I was like, okay, great. I'm into it.
Is
So
there
yeah, if you
none-
guys want to watch good sci-fi, Netflix.
Is there nothing new coming sci-fi wise, Nina?
I don't think so. The only thing I
Orville
can think of
season
is the
3
Orville.
is sometime this year, and
I think
That's
it's
it.
in March.
May or March or May. Yeah.
March or May. It's one of those M months. I don't remember.
Wow.
But other than that, for now, no, nothing.
Wow.
But if I see anything or anything comes on my radar, I will let you guys know because I'm totally into sci-fi
Maybe,
right
I think Resident Alien comes back this fall. That was
now. I
actually
still have to watch that. I've heard
that
it's
was
really
that was a good comedy.
Yes, thank you. There we go. Raised by Wolves season 2, which I'm really excited about actually.
I haven't seen season 1. What's it? Okay, I'll go look at it.
Oh, it's freaking good,
robots
George. I
racing.
love it. I love it. It's made by Ridley Scott.
Oh, I like Ridley
And it's
Scott.
basically like literally like the androids from Alien. So
Okay.
it's very like Ridley Scott world stuff. It's very good. I like it.
Cool.
I
Lost
like
in Space
like
is
it a
good
lot.
too.
Which
Have you
one,
watched
Jane?
Lost in Space.
Netflix Lost in Space or
I
old
couldn't
Lost
get
in
into
Space?
that one.
Both, but
I like the
one
original.
from Netflix is good too.
Okay.
I
The
couldn't get
original is
into the I couldn't get into the Netflix one, especially season 1. I was like, I'm out. They're not even fucking exploring space. It was weird. And I didn't like the sex swap and all the weird stuff that happened in that series. But okay. Me, I'm going to be, what am I doing? Monday. Tomorrow is Monday. I will be on Az's channel discussing another great anime. We will be discussing Ninja Scroll tomorrow. I think that's 1 Eastern. I forget what time it is UK time, so I'm sorry, but it's 1 Eastern. And then later that night, I'll be on Midnight's Edge for Toxic Femininity at 8 Eastern. So lots of streaming for me tomorrow. And then, of course, Tuesday, back on Gary's channel for The Real BBC. Yay! So thank you, everybody, for coming to hang out. Oh, and also with regards to Sunday streams, for the next Sunday, probably 2 Sundays, I won't be able to stream because my mom's coming to visit me finally after 2 years. She's coming to see me.
awesome.
So
That's cool.
yeah, I won't be able to be available for that week that she's here because
No
I'm going to be
problem.
spending all the time with her. But when I return, we will be picking up some other show that we're going to review. So keep an eye on either my Twitter, which is Nina7Infinity, or this space, the community space here, and I will announce what we're gonna do for our next review that we're gonna be doing because the Sunday night hangs is still gonna go on. I'm just taking a
Cool.
break. My mom. So thank you everybody again. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for super chatting. Thanks for pressing the like, sharing the stream, all that good stuff. Jennifer Cisco, you're awesome. Everybody in the chat, Ancient One, Grumpy Old Ninja, you guys are amazing mods. Like keep chat just going and super amazing. So thank you to all the mods. You guys are extra awesome. And so yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.